I guess these are like a pretty big thing to collect, the Starbucks mugs.
Yeah, yeah. You know what, dude? I had a cool idea. I need a coffee mug is what I need, or like a big one that I could store stuff in.
Like a craft.
Yeah, like a craft.
I feel like they sell those at the thrift store, like the stainless steel ones.
They probably do. Yeah, I definitely need to get one. But Andrea and I had an idea that everywhere we travel, because you've seen like everywhere you go, you have those Starbucks mugs
Yeah.
that are like, Las Vegas or
Yeah.
San Francisco or whatever. We wanted to collect them like from every place we go.
The Starbucks ones?
Yeah, so that way, it'd be cool. After a couple of years, you'd have like.
What if there's no Starbucks there though?
Then you're in a very remote location in the world if there's no Starbucks. Guess how many Starbucks there is internationally?
Starbucks internationally.
Yeah. How many locations? I looked this up the other day.
Hold on, I have to think about this.
It's tricky. I'll say. Do you want a little hint or no?
No.
Okay. It might fuck you up even more.
Okay. So how many Starbucks there are internationally?
That means the whole world, in case you don't know.
Yeah, no. Maybe like 55,000?
That's a really good guess. 25.
Really?
25,000.
I would expect a lot more actually.
Dude, when we were talking about this, we were traveling from San Fran to Yosemite.
Yeah.
And we were talking, how many do you think there are? Because we saw one so often.
Yeah.
And my first guess was 1 million.
Oh, dude, that's so high. No way that many.
I was like, there's probably 1 million.
No way.
And then I looked, I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. It's so many.
Well, because are there Starbucks in Europe?
Yeah,
There
yeah,
are?
yeah. They're pretty much everywhere.
I'm surprised. 'Cause I feel like Europe is such like a big a coffee hotspot that there wouldn't be there'd be so many individual places. But I guess in like big tourist centers there'd still be Starbucks.
Yeah.
Even like in Guatemala there was Starbucks.
Was it really?
Yeah.
See, look at that. Like pretty remote location in the world.
No, it was like it was like their main, like their central city,
Okay.
like their capital was in Tour.
See, there you go. So we were driving and there was just so many Starbuckses that I was like,
I feel like there'd be more though, because think about it. In Chicago, there's probably, I would say like high double digits, if not.
oh,
triple
for
digits.
sure. Yeah. Like 90 or.
Yeah,
I would say so.
within the city limits, and you figure that you extrapolate that out, because even in, I think in Tinley or like in Orland, I think there's 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure that, I don't know. I feel like there'd be more.
I'm
You just
looking
figure
at
like how many like cities there are in America.
I'm double checking my thing right now. Okay. So in the United States, there are 11,100.
Yeah, see that's really, if you figure like in the United States there's that many, like 25,000 really isn't a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because you figure
20. I mean, yeah, there is. That's international. So in the United States, there's 11,000.
right. So the United States has almost like half of them.
But divide that up in 50 states. That is so many.
Yeah, get you the phone.
All right, so
11,000. Yeah, that's too much math for me.
yeah, international. So there's United States. Let's see. Show more.
That's like 220 per state,
Yeah.
give or
Hey,
take, because you got to figure there's not going to be as many in like Montana and Alaska.
Right. Yeah, revenue of $19 billion.
People want their coffee.
That's a lot of. Oh, there's even more now. There's 13,000 in the United States, and then the rest are just dispersed among the world.
Yeah, so I feel like, I mean, that's really not that many considering that there's how many there are in the United States.
Yeah.
I figured that there'd be more because just kind of assume that like they're popular. Like I wasn't sure how popular they'd be like in Europe.
Yeah.
That means that you figure between like Europe and Asia and then South and Central America, there's only like 12,000 then, if there's 13,000 in the US.
Yeah. Well, it's a United States based company, right?
Yeah, but
And that's what we were thinking too. Like, because we were out there, I wanted to go to a little cool coffee place. I forget what it was called, but we went in there and I got mine from there, and Andrea got a macchiato, and it was like a shot of macchiato. Like she's used to like the Starbucks like full cup, and she'd had it. And she's like, "What the fuck?" And I had to like convince her, "Let's go to this cool coffee place. Like let's not go to a Starbucks."
Yeah.
So she's like, "Fine." We go in there, and she gets this little horrible shot
I wonder if macchiato means something different. Starbucks kind of like spun it.
Yeah, I bet. No, honestly, I bet. So then we ended up just going to a Starbucks anyway. And I was
You got your fancy coffee.
yeah, I did. Well, I'm coming in a little hot. Hold on. But okay. So bust out your phone. Show me that video again because I have a lot to say about that.
This Galaxy S8 one.
Yes. That definitely invoked a lot of feeling for me when I saw that.
A commercial. I think the marketers have done their job.
Oops.
Commercial. There you go.
All right.
If you want to be a world traveler, start by Galaxy S8. Handsome screen. Anyway, you want to pack. If you want to be a world traveler, start by. Oh, is that a Galaxy S8? Handsome screen. Anyway, you want to pack that, your passport, and okay, we're moving fast.
Catchy
Get
song.
around the
It
city,
is a very
take
catchy
the city
song.
Bus. That's not a bus. You'll need a tour guide. Apparently not.
See, that's okay. Nearby places,
Get a big camera.
all good.
Or that phone will work.
Cool camera, okay.
Traveling by yourself can be lonely, and you've already made friends.
Okay.
Fancy.
Llamas with emojis on their faces.
Shopping can be difficult.
Okay, this is cool. Fiesta de Sol.
Your camera
Del
speaks
Sol.
Spanish.
Del Sol. Who doesn't know that means Festival of the Sun, first of all?
Is that a king? Where are you? Oh, your camera knows that too.
See, there you go.
Dude, you're so paranoid of like being tracked, aren't you?
I'm not paranoid. Okay, it's this. The video is called Samsung Galaxy S8: The Travel Guide, and here's the problem right there. So it's like really cool up until it's like, where are you? Oh, your camera knows that too. Like just the way he said that. Here's the thing, dude. Very cool software, very cool technology.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason behind it. They're not just putting out shit because it's cool and people are going to appreciate it. What kind of data are they collecting,
Dude,
man?
man, you went full conspiracy theorist.
No, I'm not kidding.
You've listened to too many.
No. Why would they release something so cool and so convenient for no reason? I guarantee you have to be signed
To
into
make
some.
money?
Fine, people will buy it, but dude, that's part of it, yeah. But there's a bigger thing here. They want to track you. They want to know, where did she travel? I now have the software to recognize exactly where this person is. Probably track, and then, dude, it's probably links up to what they're buying, and then they could market shit to you directly.
Dude, you can do that on iPhones now too. Look at all my pictures show where they were taken.
Yeah, well, I have that shit turned off on my phone, man, because I ain't getting tracked.
Dude, you're so paranoid.
I'm not dude. Here's the thing, and it goes back to the argument of like, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. You gotta track me. It doesn't matter. But like, why, dude?
So why would they make something that's so convenient and so awesome?
Yeah.
Without having an ulterior motive?
Exactly.
Because it's convenient and awesome and people will buy it.
I don't think that's how big corporations work, man.
Dude, okay, think about it. If it's convenient and awesome, people will buy it. They'll make money. That's how corporations work.
You're right. They will make money, but I also think they go, how could we make more money? How could we double down here? Let's track where these people are, so we can market to them directly. Let's say, fine, they're in whatever, Costa Rica, whatever that was. Mm-hmm. They're in Costa Rica down there, and they go, okay, they're in this little town. Maybe now they're going to be sending shit through your social media. Oh, go to this restaurant. Here's a 25% off.
No, you can't be on social media down there. You don't get service.
Well, anywhere else in the world. I don't know for sure. This is just a little theory of mine. I think that's cool technology, but there's an ulterior motive.
You're just very conspiracy theorist. You don't trust You're too on guard.
Too on guard. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think.
No, I don't like. They probably make it because it's cool.
I think hold on.
Now, when you say like, why do like internet corporations record what you click and all that?
Yeah.
Then yeah, they're definitely using that for like some sort of surveillance thing.
For sure.
But in terms of like where you take pictures, because then, so think about it. So if you have the where you like if they have the capabilities of saying of knowing where you're at when you take a picture, then the phone company has that. So like Samsung has it, not like any of these companies. So then they would have to essentially sell that in real time to like a whole mess of, I guess, like internet providers and then companies, and then they would have to push it. So think how rapidly that would have to happen.
I think if it's not happening already, we're on the way. Do you have a My Mix number?
No.
You know what a My Mix number is?
Nope.
This may not be a new thing, but I'm seeing it all over the place. When you go to get gas, they enter your My Mix number.
Oh, at Jewel?
Yeah, or at Jewel.
Or at Shell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shell, and now it's at Jewel.
Yeah, it's like in combination.
Okay, so
I
I
get 20 cents off a gallon every time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You know what that is, I think?
What?
I think now it's going into Jewel Osco and shit. They're tracking your purchases and they're tracking your gas.
Oh my dude, you're going
No.
you are so far gone.
I don't think so.
You took a turn for the worse. You 100% took a turn for the worse.
Let me just share with you what happened. I went to Jewel and I bought something and I was walking out and the lady's like, enter your My Mix number. Not even like, do you have one? And I was like, I don't have a My Mix number. She gets me a pamphlet. I'm like, I don't want this. It's like, no, you get discounts. And I'm like, what's the, why? Is it going to, in my head, it's going to track my purchases, man.
Dude, you're
it's gonna track,
so
this guy likes
conspiratorial.
bananas. This guy likes cheese
Dude,
and
you're
wine. And this,
you're so conspiratorial.
I don't like any of these discount programs, man, because what are you going to save in a lifetime of 5% off gas or 5 cents off a gallon of gas?
Dude, I've saved like 20 cents off a gallon.
Not every time.
I would say the times that I've used it, I've saved 10 to 20 cents off a gallon each time.
I don't know. So, fine. Then you, in a lifetime, you're going to save $100, $200.
No, dude, more than that.
I don't know. But either
You
way,
figure 20 cents off a gallon, and if last time I filled up, it was like 20 gallons. So that's $4. And you figure if you fill up once a week, that's $16 a week times 52 weeks. You got a big number.
well, you're assuming that every time you go, it's 20 cents. I think that's an overestimation. But here we go. I would rather just pay the extra 20 cents every time. Because what do they need this information for? Why? What does it matter? They know that I'm filling up my gas at Homer Glen. And now they know all this other shit. I don't know. I don't like it.
You're so far gone. You think that everything is being tracked.
I do. Everything is being tracked.
Have you ever read 1984?
Yes.
Yeah, the 100%. You're living in your own 1984. I'm gonna see you running around.
I don't
with like
let
the
it
little,
consume my life.
I'm gonna see you running around with a tinfoil hat.
I don't let it consume.
So why do you use a debit card then?
Because it's convenient. It's the same shit.
Yeah, they probably track that. Then if
they're
tracking your My Mix number, dude, they're definitely tracking your debit card.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Especially or like a credit card, they're tracking both of those.
It's true, but I'm fine. I like to minimize the
Just
amount.
go all cash.
No.
Let's go purely cash based.
Shout out to Wally. That's what Wally does.
All cash
All
based.
cash all the time.
Dude, I thought about
Pretty
it.
badass.
Okay, when I was actually driving, I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't want my money in like a bank because you figure like how easy things get hacked and like how quickly the electric grid can just get fucked.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, your money is essentially on a computer, and the computer's fucked. So, where's your money? So I was thinking about it, and I'm like, that would be so badass to just get like an actual paycheck and just cash that out every time.
That'd be cool. But
Except that you'd have to figure out like places, just get like a
you're
safe,
gonna hide it.
like a safety deposit box, or just like
Yeah.
just get like buy my own big ass vault.
I mean, that'd be cool, man. But
Dude,
then
here's how badass that would be, like opening a vault of like $120,000, like a shotgun, some Cuban cigars, and like a nice bottle of rum.
Tony Montana and a big pile of coke.
I was going that far. Dude, that'd be so badass. Like every single time, just like make a little deposit. See like a nice big polished shotgun.
That would be cool.
Some Cubans.
Some Cuban cigars and a bottle
of rum.
That would be sweet.
Maybe actually we'll do that.
Do
But I mean, okay, think about it. Like, think how easily things can get hacked. And I mean, why not go after like bank accounts? That's the easiest way. Because you figure you can just transfer money, or like do like a wire transfer online now. Mm-hmm. It's so easy to get your stuff fucked up.
It is, but if the power grid went down completely, like you said,
yeah,
then the dollar, I feel like the dollar would also begin to lose value too. Like I think
True.
there's going to be bigger problems if the entire electrical grid goes down.
Right,
I don't think
mean,
your
like,
money is really going to matter that much. It will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not thinking like long term, like like long-term civilization destruction, electric grid goes down, but just like a power outage or something like that, where like,
Yeah,
or like
just
something happens for maybe like
a week or
for like an extended period of time.
Okay.
Like not too long though.
Yeah.
I'm framing the thing here.
Now we just got to go to the gold standard.
Yeah. Well, that we should, because it's based in something that's real. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what, like, at least I don't know enough about like finance to talk about it.
Neither do I.
But like just thinking like logically, it makes more sense to go off something that has like an actual value compared to just like in like a faith-based thing of like wanting the dollar being a certain amount because people want the dollar.
Right. Well, that kind of ties into the whole
I take that lid off. It's gonna
Bitcoin thing.
It's gonna get like overheated because of smoke.
Oh no, it'll be fine. I'm telling you.
Dude, it was so nice in Guatemala. $1 was worth 7 of their things. So like these pants were 90 Q, I want to say. So like,
So you divide that by 7.
yeah. So like $15, $16.
That's cool.
I thought about it. I'm like, what if I could work for like 10 or 15 years and then just take all of my money down to Guatemala and just live like a king?
That'd be cool. Yeah, because you could head down there, like just totally save. Head down there with maybe like 100,000
Right.
USD, and then you have 700 Q,
Right.
700,000 Q.
And I mean,
And when
things,
that would take you like really far,
right?
right?
Because things down there are very cheap too.
Yeah.
I think like our supervisor said the average income is like 300 to 600 Q a year.
Wow.
So things like are kind of priced around that being the basic income. So yeah, I could do that.
Wait, the average income is 300,000 to
No,
600,000.
300 to 600 Q.
Oh, the average annual income?
Yeah, I think that was it. Or it might have been like 3,000 to 6,000, but still, that's
Either way.
yeah, it's not a lot,
Oh my god.
dude. We
Wait a
drove
sec. So how much? What does that convert to? Dude,
less
that's
than $1,000.
That's ridiculous. Wait, 3,000. So that would be 3,000 divided by 7.
So that would be like
They make like $428 a year.
Yeah,
US
around
dollars.
that.
Holy shit.
yeah,
You could live like a king.
you.
Is
yeah.
it nice? Like, could you get a nice...
No, I mean there are some nice places, but not really.
You would have to live more.
Yeah, you'd have to live. I mean, there are like nice places with nice views. I'm sure we didn't see the whole country, so I'm sure like any place, I'm sure there's nice areas. But just when like we were in the more impoverished areas too. But when we were in like the main, like the old school area, it was a little more nicer, I'd say. We drove through a cartel town, and our supervisor's like, "No pictures here."
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that.
When like anytime like our bus driver would slow down, I'd like white knuckle like the grab bar in front of me, and I'm like, "Dude, drive." Not gonna. I don't want to be the next person on TV. Group
Young
volunteers.
white American male gets killed by Guatemalan cartel. Young male just bought a pair of $15 pants when he was slayed down in the street.
By the cartel.
See, but there's the other thing. If you move down there with 700,000 Q, I feel like the cartel might catch wind of that and like, hey, buddy, you owe us a little tax.
Yeah, like she was saying that it wasn't like a big, it's like you don't bother us, we don't bother you kind of thing. It's more.
Okay.
It's not as bad as it was like you see with like the Escobar stuff, or like even as bad as it is now in like other countries.
That's good. Yeah. Interesting, man.
She said that like the Godfather there, that was actually like the Godfather. Like people will walk up to him and be like, "I need like however much for like a surgery," and he'll just give them the money.
Oh, really? But there's like, but you owe me a favor.
Right, and she was like, "But then you owe money to the Godfather."
Wow.
I'm like, "Ooh, that's actually kind of like." She said that, I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." That it's like not cool, but it's cool that like the movie was accurate. And,
Yeah.
like that's how it actually works.
Right.
A little bit of nostalgia is always nice to see, even if it is with cartels and probably loan sharking and
Yeah, by and killing people's horses.
yeah.
And putting their heads in your bed. Dude, the mob shit just scares me so much. Just mob mentality and mob lifestyle. Like, when we were watching The Sopranos in my house, AJ and I would always be talking, like, would you ever, like, do a favor for a mob guy or something? Or, like, if you ever needed something, like, would you do it? And I was, like, always like, fuck no.
Dude, you don't want to get in because it's like
It's so dark.
yeah, and you never know where it's gonna go. And
Yeah.
most of the time you're not killing someone, but it's like just some weird like handling stuff you
Take
don't want
this
to be.
package.
Yeah.
Take it to Brooklyn. You see a guy named Gino. He owns a sausage factory.
Yeah, no, that's like such a sketchy endeavor. So I don't even, like, are mobs still a thing? I feel like they had like their heyday in like the bootlegging eras.
I think there's still a thing, but not as big.
They're not like they were
Anymore.
they're
Yeah.
out of their heyday.
My parents were downtown, and they're somewhere like Little Italy, and like authentic Little Italy. And then they couldn't find parking anywhere,
Yeah.
and Cindo was like, "Hey, just park right there. There's like an orange cone right there." And Terry's like, "No, what are you talking about?" She's like, "I'll just go move the orange cone." And then Terry's like, "No, we're not doing that. Like parking right outside of this restaurant. Like imagine like moving the orange cone,
Yeah.
parking right there." And he's like, "What the fuck? This is where the boss is gonna park."
Yeah.
Yeah, so he put the kibosh on that.
Wait, it actually like it was where like the boss was gonna park?
Oh, we don't. Nah,
Oh.
he doesn't know. He just was,
Like, yeah.
don't do it just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd move an orange cone. I feel like they put it there for a reason.
All right, I wrote down some shit I want to talk about. Okay, first one. If we talked about this before, because I have a list of stuff that
You don't
I just
delete?
accumulate. So if we
delete
talked
it?
about it, stop me. Okay, so remember when iPhones didn't have read receipts,
Yes.
like a couple years ago?
Yeah.
And then when you first got read receipts,
Yeah.
they were really strange, right? Like when you saw people that you could read it or that they were
Oh,
typing.
yeah, I know what they are.
with
I
the
have
dot.
it.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
But when they were first introduced, and especially with when people were typing, you could see the ...
Yeah.
Do you remember? I remember when that first came out. I thought that was the weirdest thing ever. And now that it's been around, it's totally normal. It just is like not. That's so strange. Like what a weird feature on a phone.
To show that you read it?
But I'm talking more about the ...
Oh, to show that they're
as
typing?
you're typing. Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about that, and that is a really strange thing. And here's why I think it's weird. I think it's a ploy to get people.
Oh, man,
no,
dude.
listen. I think it's a ploy
You're
to
gonna make
get
my
people
head
looking
against
at
the
your
wall.
phone, to get you to look at your phone more.
Dude, you're full-on conspiracy theorist.
Well, I don't know for sure, man.
Have you ever seen the commercial where it's like they crack the egg and it says this is your brain on drugs? That's your brain on conspiracy theories, and you're getting real close to that.
All I'm saying is, it's just a weird feature on the iPhone. And when it wasn't around, I remember
Dude,
the
it's
first
all
time
just
I
government
saw it.
interference, so that way they can keep you entertained on your phone. It's just a big ploy,
Fuck you.
obviously.
What do you think it is?
I don't know, just a feature. They're trying to stay innovative and stay like hot.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Or it's the government, man, is trying to take over your life and
it's
keep
a
you on
weird
your phone.
feature though. Like, why would you need to know when someone is typing? I guess so you can
Yeah, I
anticipate
mean-
their response.
Yeah, because you figure like even on like Snapchat, you can see when people are typing. Like AOL, you could see when people were typing. I think it's just something.
Oh, you're right. AOL.
I think it's just kind of something that it's always been there. So it's like, all right. I mean, they had it. We might as well just keep it on too.
Yeah. All right. Well, when I don't know. It's a strange feature because sometimes like I'll text, I'll shoot off a text right before I'm about to jump into the shower. Like, hey, like gonna be on my way in a little bit, and then all of a sudden someone starts typing back.
Yeah.
And the shower's running. You're like naked, about to jump in, but you're like, hold on. And then they're typing for like 2 minutes. You're like, come on. And then like it just goes away. You're like, what? I don't know. Weird feature on the iPhone.
You just got to stay strong and shower.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. Okay, another thing.
More conspiracy theories?
No, you could probably relate to this, but I thought this was kind of an interesting feeling I had, so I wrote it down. Do you think in any other place besides maybe America or like a highly privileged country that people don't look forward to going to class? You know that feeling sometimes where you get like, oh, I don't want to go to class.
No.
Yeah, you think that's like specific to...
Yeah, that's 100% specific to America.
Yeah, because
like you look at like schools in like India and like Africa where, or even like the Middle East where people can't go to school. They look forward, like they're excited that they can go
right,
and learn.
it's like such a huge privilege.
Right. I was watching something on like the Islamic State, and this kid was like sad that he didn't get into like the top school that he wanted. Like he was like 10 years old, I want to say, and he had to go to like the he had to go to like the better school, and his parents were like struggling to pay for it.
Right.
And he was sad that he might not be able to go there anymore because he wanted the ability to learn.
Yeah.
It's such like a, I think that 100% is an American thing.
Appreciate it more. I'm sweating. They appreciate it more in other countries, because like I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm like, oh god, I don't want to go to class, and I'm like, then I caught myself like, what the fuck am I talking about right here?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to go to class? What? Like, that's such a privilege. Why are you bitching about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I definitely think that is. Well, I was thinking about it. What was I watching? Or with all like the just like with all like the news going on and all like the stupid shit. Someone mentioned like how like unique the American experiment is, and I thought about it, and I'm like, America is like kind of like a cool place, because if you think about it, like if you look at pretty much any other country, except for if you look at like pretty much any other country, it's just like those people. So if you look at like France, has essentially just been like French people through. I mean, obviously like had to be taken over by someone and like populated by people, but it's not like America where it was like found and it's just like a shitload of people came and like made it.
Right.
It's such like a foreign. It actually is like a 100% like foreign concept.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I'm like, it's kind of like a neat thing to think about.
Absolutely. We take it for granted, but I try to think about that too, as like someone from a different country, right? Like think about the United States. Pretend you're like a fucking person who lives in India or something, right? The United States, like there's not in India, you have like Indian people, right?
And that's
United States. It's probably such a cool concept for them. Like there's 50 states, and they're all different.
Right.
Like some have mountains, some are snowy,
Yeah.
some have beaches. And everyone's different. There's people of all colors.
That's such like a foreign thing.
And a fucking Cheeto guy runs the country. Like,
and it's like they can handle it, unlike most places where different people can't handle it.
Yeah.
It's so like it really is like such a unique thing, and like a whole unique, I guess, like experiment, like they say.
Who calls it the experiment?
It was, I don't know, someone on CNN, I think. But they were just like, because I mean, like, you think like it kind of was like an experiment. It was people, I mean, granted, there was Native Americans before, but like people came over, essentially took it from like nothing and then made this. I mean, there's overlooking a lot of stuff in there, but.
Right. I've heard someone talk about just the rebellious nature of, the beginnings of our country is just still kind of like echoing today, because you think about it, we broke away from Great Britain, right? Like that's what we did. We said, fuck you, we're going across the ocean, you know, and then we're just gonna land and we're gonna start our own thing. That's a ballsy move, man.
Right, to be like, we have no idea what's there, but we're gonna
settle here.
Yeah, that is like, I never thought about it, but that is super balls. Just be like, we're gonna get on a boat when we have minimal technology,
right?
Sail across a big ass body of water to someplace we've never actually been, and we're gonna start our own place. We'll still be part of Britain, but we're just gonna make our own thing.
Right.
That's so crazy. That's
nuts.
I guess that kind of is like going to Mars, because once they left, you know, they're
uncharted
not coming,
territories.
Yeah, you know they're not coming back.
Right. You don't know what you're gonna encounter over there, like animals, different people. And then
like we had the Native Americans to help.
Yeah. All right.
Then we gave them the big old middle finger.
Yeah. We're taking all of this. You can have that little tiny plot of land
that has pretty much nothing of sustenance on it,
except casinos.
Yeah, that's how you'll make your money.
All right. This might be really stupid, but we're just talking out loud here. So, 1492, obviously, Columbus came over, right?
Sailed the ocean blue.
Yes. If I learned anything from school. So that was, if I'm correct, he was looking for India, right?
Yes.
And he fucked up and he found the United States.
Right.
Well, what is now the United States. So
he found like the West Indies.
So but that was way before 1776 when we declared independence.
Right.
From Britain. So that was a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Right? So he
discovered America.
Because he was Italian.
Right.
He discovered America, which is really a bullshit term because he didn't discover it.
Yeah, like the Vikings were here before Amerigo Vespucci. I mean, the Native Americans were here, so I guess.
So he discovered it, and then
he discovered it in like European terms.
But he didn't try settling there.
No, it wasn't until later that I think colonies. So I think he landed in like the Bahamas or like a region down there, I want to say, and I'm pretty sure. There he kind of like settled, and then they sailed back, and then they brought over like colonists and stuff like that.
Italy.
Yeah, and then I think like word kind of caught on, and then everyone else came over, and I was like, hot pie grab.
Okay. See, yeah, that was never really explained much. You know, you hear 1492, and then it's like jump to 1776.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I feel like
Like
that should
the
be.
South
should know
was a lot
that.
more of like of Spain, I want to say, and then the North, where like the New England is essentially, was a lot of England,
Yeah.
and then England ended up coming down to like Georgia, because I think Georgia was like our version of Australia. We just sent over all the criminals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like indentured
Wow.
servants. And then they made up Georgia, and then I think below Georgia was all Florida. And then they had like a little bit more into like Louisiana, Alabama too, I want to say.
Oh,
I think that was Spain.
interesting.
East.
Didn't know about that. So what if, you know, the colonists of 1776, when they broke away
Yeah.
and they got away with it, they were just like, well, fuck yeah, if we can do that, let's go to Africa and steal some people. Like, what if they got on their high horse and they're like, how far can we take this?
Oh, dude, they had slaves long before then.
African American slaves, though?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, slaves have been around a super long time, especially ones from Africa.
How come it just, like, did it just gain popularity in the 1800s or what?
No, they were popular before that.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, slaves were always kind of like a thing.
Oh, and then they just decided it was bad during like Abraham Lincoln. Like they decided like this isn't right,
Yeah.
and then
You know, like anything's obvious changes are hard to understand.
yeah,
So
Huh.
it all takes time.
it's so
It's kind of like think about it's like the
blurry.
wall now. Like if you think like, wait, people think that like just because they're from Mexico they're a different person.
yeah,
So let's build a wall.
yeah.
'Cause
Well, that
that-
ties into like citizenship.
Because in like
too.
100 years, people look at me like, wait, they didn't know that it's just like one people and you're living like artificial border wise.
Mhm. Yeah, but you're talking about like citizenship then.
Right, but I mean, think about it. People that just hate others because think about like racists. It's like, wait, they hate someone just because of like the color of their skin. Like they couldn't. It took that long to realize that the color of their skin doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
just like,
People are still figuring that out.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So like in 100 years, people can be like, wait, they still killed each other for stupid shit like that.
Mhm.
It's really no different. I mean, humans are still evolving.
Yeah. Well, monkeys are in the Stone Age,
I think so.
from what I hear. Someone
Dude.
told me that. Lisa.
You have to Google it.
Yeah, that's
Things must
I don't
be
know enough
Googled.
about that, but yeah, apparently, according to Lisa Miotti, monkeys
Things-
are now in the Stone Age.
I saw a picture of it. I don't know how true it is.
Yeah, me neither. So that's
That's
the
fine.
problem. You just hear one thing,
And then you know.
and now you just regurgitate it. Yeah, did you know monkeys are in the Stone Age?
Yeah.
Based on what?
I don't know. I saw it on the internet. So that's like I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw like someone shared like an article that William H. Macy died. And I'm like,
I saw that too,
And
yeah,
I'm like,
the
oh, that sucks.
shameless
So I Googled it and I saw it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Huh. There we go. There. I saw like people just like I was like the automatic comment that came up was like, oh, I shared it before I even read it. I'm like, dude, like a modicum of common sense here. It
Yeah.
takes like 30 seconds to Google something.
Yeah.
And oh man, people are just not.
I think it ties into like instant gratification, and
I don't know. I think it's just people just aren't smart.
I have a buddy who on Facebook will just share shit all
Mm.
the time. And one time I caught his comment. Somebody was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this isn't real." And he's like, "Oh, I just shared it so I could check it out later." Like that's not a good way to handle that. Spread information just so you could check it out later. Like save the link or something.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're now like
you,
actively
you can do that
spreading-
on Facebook. You can like click like save for later.
Yeah, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I found it out like a little bit ago, but yeah, like or like just like save the link or something like that.
Yeah, I shared it so I could check it out later. Like what?
Like I feel like you can be putting out a lot of weird information there
Yeah.
that you don't 100% like condone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I feel like I sound so pretentious, but just like people aren't that smart.
You're so pretentious.
I try not. Like I don't want to be, but just like when people do things like that, I'm like, man, it takes 30 seconds to Google something.
Yeah.
Or when people just share like things that, like maybe things that could be true or could not be, just like a news article, just Google it before. If it's not like a major like source or something like that. Like I saw something like a vegan someone shared about like the different types of teeth and how like human teeth aren't meant to eat meat. And I'm like, you could have Googled that, and that would have like found like a decent anthropological report, and that would have shown that that's not true.
Yeah.
And someone who works with animals is like, yeah, that's not true. You might want to, and like, just honestly, like, yeah, you
search.
Right, and it doesn't take that long. Like, you have Google at your fingertips.
Right.
Take advantage of the technology to become more educated.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear
I mean,
that.
I'm sure I'm guilty of it too, but I try to at least, like, if I see something that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna share, and it could be like controversial, I'll just fact check myself because I don't want to. Yeah, because I don't want to put out like bad information.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you're trusting Google, Eric, and going back into the corporations.
Oh yeah, so I mean, they're just taking
just
all my
kidding.
data. They don't want me to have convenience or anything without an ulterior motive.
You didn't know that they just alter website data due to your Amazon
Search
Prime
history?
search history,
And where you take your pictures at. See, you're gonna become that in like a month or two.
No, I won't. I won't let myself get that bad.
By your wedding, you're not gonna have any cameramen, no pictures. It'll be a completely dark wedding because you don't want anyone knowing where you're at. You don't want the government sending you like advertisements based on where
That's
your wedding is.
We're gonna get married in the dark by candlelight, and you're gonna be our flower girl.
It's like one of those creepy old school churches where you have like the monks with the hood over. Yeah, just keep it real creepy like that. Very old school Germanic.
You have to like sacrifice a lamb up.
Just take a bite out of it, still beating hard.
We are gathered here today.
As part of the ceremony, you like take the blood and just
like smear it on your face.
just like the black under eye or like paint that they use for baseball. Let's keep it very old school.
Yeah, that'll be me.
Very Mayan ritualistic.
That's the route I'm headed down.
Definitely.
Did you ever listen to Henry Rollins?
Yeah, when I almost died and driving through what do you call it? Idaho.
Through the mountains.
Yeah.
So we may have talked about this, but his did you hear the part in the interview where they're talking about how he was traveling all around the world, and he's the guy from Black Flag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, musician type. He's traveling all around the world, and then he's like meeting people in these indigenous countries, and and they're saying, and he's finding out that there's some words in American that don't translate to their indigenous language. And then he's like talking about vacation.
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't have that word.
Yeah.
We don't have the word. What does vacation mean? And he's like, it means when you leave your home to like travel for pleasure and to go somewhere else. And they were just like, well, why would you do that? Your home is your home.
Right.
You know? And
Yeah.
that was so cool, man. That stuck with me because it is an interesting, like vacations. That's like viewed as pleasure in here. Let's take 2 weeks and like speed through a country that takes probably would take months or years to really appreciate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is kind of and you feel like it's such like a advanced civilization thing because I feel like an indigenous people they don't have like the ability. It's like we don't do a vacation because we're busy.
We're busy trying to survive.
trying to live.
Yeah.
That they don't like they're so focused on like living and they're so like connected with that life that they don't need a vacation. Yeah. Because like what do people like usually people vacation to like relax and get away. Or just like to find some enjoyment, but you figure those people are living like such like natural lives that they're probably
always on a vacation.
Yeah, I mean not like they're always like
their own version of
right,
a vacation.
That because they're just like so they're satisfying like so many of like those primal. Because for the most part they still struggle. I feel like, but I mean by now they're kind of good at surviving.
But it might not even be struggling. We may perceive it as struggling.
Right.
Because to us, like, the Guatemalan people averaged $400, $500 US dollars a year. Like, but that might be plenty, you know?
No, it's not.
No? Well, I watched a documentary, if you haven't seen it, Living on $1 a Day.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I
it's
think
not one of those places,
They're
though.
in Guatemala. Yeah, but shit was, like, very, very cheap. They lived off $1 a day. So there,
I mean, I think you could, but I don't think like it wouldn't be.
It's extreme poverty for sure.
Yeah.
But there was a family of 5, and they had a roof over their head. It was
Yeah, I mean, for the most part,
hut.
if you have if you have the basic needs met, like food, shelter, and like a decent community, pretty much everything else is like funny money after that almost.
Yeah. Well,
Those are like the basic needs. Figuring everything else is just kind of, like a cherry on top.
what were we even talking about initially before I went into this?
Vacation.
Yeah, vacation.
Well, it's like kind of going back. It's like it's weird how, like, if you think about it. So, should I think of a word I know? So if you think about it, like, guitar in American is guitarra in Spanish, but it doesn't mean so. Like, guitarra doesn't mean guitar in Spanish. It's a word for the same object, if that makes sense. It's just like, I don't know. I was thinking about it, like, it's a weird way to frame it. So like I would say like como está tu brazo, and I'm like, oh yeah, brazo is the word for arm, and I'm like, it's not the word for arm, because they don't, like, when you're telling a Spanish person like brazo, they don't convert it to arm and then think arm. They hear that word and think this thing attached to your shoulder. And I thought about it because like they would, because it was weird because I didn't have like the fluency for it, so they would speak to me and I would have to like convert in my head, and I'm like, this is so weird how I can essentially speak to them and they don't have to convert it to English. It was like a weird weird thing to comprehend. So almost
when you were working with your patients, they would speak to you in Spanish?
Yeah.
Really? And you don't really speak Spanish?
A little bit. I knew enough kind of to get by, but we had translators too.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say you're giving medical care to these people. It's like, I think you said arm, but
no, it was just weird because I'm like, I don't know, it was weird to think about that. It's like they say brazo and I convert it to arm and then think arm,
right?
But they don't have to. But they don't call this like an arm, if that makes sense. Like it's
the
word
like arm doesn't exist,
right? It's like an egocentric framing thing where it's like we take their word, prioritize it compared to ours, and then attach it to its meaning. Yeah. When in theory it's just a bunch of letters meaning like this, almost like this higher form of something. It was like a weird thing to think about, just kind of going into like the idea of like words and just like the label that we put onto them. Like we call this like a shirt, but we can call it like a fichua. And it could mean the exact same thing.
You just make that word up?
Yep, like what this is in its essence doesn't change.
True. Yeah. You're totally egocentric. You're right.
It's like the book Frindle. I was like an old school elementary grade one. It was like
like a frindle.
Yeah. Where he instead of having like a pen, he started calling his pens frindles.
Holy shit! Yeah, I remember that.
And like he got like suspended for it or something. Like, I don't know, it was like an old school kids book, and it's just like going like that. It's like it doesn't matter what you call it, because like this thing is still the same. It's just like what form that different sound you make evokes.
Right.
It's like this weird like priority thing that we just like put on objects.
Why? It's weird that there are so many languages, actually, because I know there's a biblical story that I don't necessarily...
So you know it's true.
Yeah, you know it's true. No, I don't necessarily believe it's true, but it was something... The biblical story goes...
Tower of Babylon?
Is that it? Yeah, the Tower of Babylon, where they were trying to build a tower up into the heavens.
Yeah.
And then God was like, no, you can never reach the heavens. I'm going to make you all speak different languages. And then...
That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
No, that's why.
Yeah, 100%.
That is 100% why.
It's strange, though, right? So, since the beginning of people, however that came about...
Evolution.
Okay, so let's say that's how it came about.
No, not us. Science.
Okay, well, I'm just...
General scientific consensus, evolution.
I agree, but I'm not about to say I know for sure.
Oh, I'm 100% going to put I trust the scientific community.
No.
No, because you can't, like, legitimize, like... Because that's, like, the same thing as people saying, like, oh, well, like, climate change doesn't exist, but you can't say it doesn't, or I can say it does.
I'm saying I agree with evolution.
But you're not going to say...
That I know for sure.
Okay, but if someone said that, like, oh, people were here because they were created, would you say, no, that's wrong?
People are here because they were created.
By, like, God.
Oh.
So, like, so God made Adam and Eve.
No,
and
I wouldn't say that's wrong.
See, that's... No. I, like...
Dude, no, when it comes down... we don't know, Ches.
Oh,
like, you could say... No, I can't say you can't say anything for sure, in my opinion.
But okay, but then that leads to like the questioning of all of reality.
Yeah, that's the state of craziness I live in, man.
No, because you know that we have certain things, like this microphone is here because we can perceive it, we can touch it. Yes,
Is it?
Yes, I'm confident of saying that.
You don't think there's a possibility that right now you're in a sane asylum?
Doesn't matter. I'm right now in my current
padded room, talking
in my
to yourself,
current level of
rocking back and
consciousness.
forth.
In my current level of consciousness, I'm here.
Okay, But
I'm perfectly content saying that I trust the scientists and the basis of all scientific theory that has been observed.
so do I. But I would
And I
always
will
say
100% tell people that believe that people were put here that they are not right.
okay.
Because I think that leads to too many bad rabbit holes.
Here's what I'd say, man. I'd say 99% I agree with you. But 1%, I don't know.
I feel bad like being like that, but I read too much Sam Harris to be the opposite way now.
Dude, I'm not saying it's wrong. All I'm saying is I'm never about to shut anyone down.
Oh, I will, because then you have people that teach creationism instead of evolution in schools and teach it like it's fact, accepted fact. And then we have people who are idiots that don't believe in climate change and other basic scientific facts that are going to lead to the destruction of the earth. And by saying that, yeah, creationism could have happened, it gives that like a legitimacy, which should be no legitimacy to.
Well, dude, that is your opinion, and that's fine.
I'm very firm on this.
That's fine. Go ahead. Because
That's just like saying someone that shares like something that is on like patriotnewsnow.com. Like, well, I don't know for sure, so it could be true. It gives that a source of legitimacy as well.
But here's the problem.
It gives the Sandy Hook deniers a source of legitimacy. It gives idiotic conspiracy theorists a source of legitimacy.
But here's...
Because you don't know the earth is wrong for sure.
You're right.
So you won't say that flat earthers are wrong.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh
Correct.
my...
Dude, here's the thing. I could tell you how I believe and what I believe and why I believe it, but I'm not about to say like what I'm saying is absolutely correct, because I don't know.
For most things, I can make
And
that.
Chet, and neither do you, man.
I trust scientists.
Were you okay? Fine, and so do I. But you can't say that you watched humans evolve and you watched the entire process. Because
So you're gonna say that dinosaurs didn't live here?
I'm not. No.
If someone said God created Adam and Eve and dinosaurs are a myth,
I'd say interesting. Why do you think that?
and then if they said because it's not in the Bible, fossils are just put there by big scientists to make us believe in evolution, like an evolution agenda, and take God out of our life.
Okay, we could role play. I'd say, well, where are you getting that information from?
Jesus.net.
Then
I read it. It's true, and it's not in the Bible.
Okay, and at that point, I would say you shouldn't trust everything that you read in the Bible and take it as fact.
Why? God created it.
Do you believe that anything God says?
Yep.
Okay.
I believe in the Bible.
And I would say, that's cool, but here's what I think. And then I'd go on what
So you wouldn't say that fossils are real? We have like carbon dating proof.
I believe fossils are real.
But you're not going to tell them that no, fossils aren't real. They're all a big propaganda put here by the government.
Why would I say that? I don't believe that. I think
Right.
right. So I
So
would.
if someone is saying like things that aren't true, you wouldn't correct them.
I would say I disagree with you. I don't think just because it says it in the Bible means it's true. I'm not gonna say like you are wrong because it says it in the Bible. And
No,
that's
not
true.
that. But say like if someone says, because people do say that fossils are put there by
I've heard, yeah.
pro-agenda or pro-evolution agenda people.
Mm-hmm.
When we have archaeologists that go out there
Right.
and like discover them saying like, no, I wasn't sent by anyone.
Well, I would ask them like, where are you basing that information off of? And if they say the Bible,
Or if they say,
Jesus.net,
yeah,
or something, I'd say like, well,
or
that doesn't seem like
creationismnews.com,
that doesn't seem like a legitimate source to me.
but you don't know that for sure.
I don't.
Right?
Which is why I'm not gonna tell them they're wrong.
It just leads into like an endless rabbit hole of where people can believe bad, like wrong ideas.
But
very obviously
I still believe that.
wrong ideas.
I
Because you're
can
living in an
only-
idea where literally nothing is true outside of your own reality.
Wait, say that again.
So based off of that, you're living in, like theoretically, your view of reality is nothing is true unless you're there. Because you don't
Kind of.
because you don't experience it, so how do you know it's true?
Here's my only thing, man. Like,
So how do you believe anything?
I can take a sip of this water right here. Ready?
Yeah.
I know for a fact that I just took a sip of this water because I experienced it and I saw it and I did it.
Yeah.
I can't say
Okay.
that I saw a dinosaur die in the ground and turn into a fossil. I believe that's what happened because of what I was taught and research I've done and what scientists have said. But I didn't see it happen, so I can't say for 100% certainty that that's how they got there.
So
But I believe, if you were to ask me, I would say, yeah, I think that's what happened. but I can't, dude. I can't say anything except that I just took a sip of this water with 100% certainty, or that, that Gus is my cousin because I saw my aunt pregnant with him, and I was there the day after he was born. I didn't see it come out, which is kind of a weird example, but you know what I mean. Like
you don't know then. He could have gotten switched and delivered.
Then I don't. Yeah, absolutely. I buy into that.
Oh man,
that was a bad example on my part, but you know what I'm saying. Like
so you could be loving like a fake cousin right now.
Sure.
The real Gus can be in like New York.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
So you live in like this completely unsure state of reality.
But you're making it sound so unstable. You're making it sound so unstable because I'm not. It's not to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to work and I'm not like collecting a paycheck and I'm not saving money because of my reality is so unstable. Because I believe stuff and I'll commit to that. It just when it comes down to like.
So you live in a life of zero fact.
No, not true.
How do you know? Do you believe in climate change?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of research I've done.
But you haven't. So
I believe in it. For people who don't, that's fine. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know.
I can't see. I don't know if I can say like, yeah, I believe in climate change is fine, because it's going to lead to the destruction of the earth.
But not necessarily for me, man. Because if it comes down to shit where we all have to vote, let's take it to a very basic level. We all have to vote, whether climate change is real or not. And it got to the point where it's just democratic vote. Yeah. Right. If 51% of the country votes that climate change is real and we need to start reducing carbon emissions, we need to.
But they didn't.
Well, we're just hypothetical scenario here. I'm voting on yes, we absolutely need to start changing things because I believe in climate change. Yeah. So how does that? That's not a bad thing on my part. I have facts and I'm basing my facts on science, and then I'm supporting that.
But that allows other people with bad facts to propagate spreading bad facts.
Well, if they want to do that, they have a reason to do it. Just like my reason to support climate change. They have in their mind, they have equally as important reasons. And when it comes down to it, I didn't do the scientific research. I don't know for a fact.
See, but then that just allows badness to propagate.
So but like badness, there's a subjective term.
Okay, ISIS is doing what they believe. So are you saying that ISIS is wrong then?
I think it's wrong because.
But you're not going to tell them that they're wrong because they're living their subjective life.
Correct.
So you're fine with killing people and using chemical warfare.
How do you?
Because if you don't tell them that they're wrong, then you're allowing them that space.
They grew up in their life. They were told it for God. It's like we were told go to church and pray.
But you're allowing
and help
them.
People.
But you're allowing them that space to propagate that behavior by saying that they're not wrong.
We were brought up to go to church and to help people and to pray, and you will go to heaven. These people were brought up by killing and doing this shit is how you get to heaven, and it's right. And I don't even fault them. What they're doing is wrong because I don't think killing anybody solves any problems. But that's all they know, and it's fucked up. If I was sitting in a room with one,
then you should tell them that they're wrong.
I would.
Killing people is wrong.
I would, dude.
You just said you wouldn't because you don't know for a fact that that's true.
If I was sitting in a room with an ISIS terrorist.
And he said that if I kill people and I'll get to heaven, if I kill you, I'll get to heaven. You wouldn't say no, you're wrong. You would allow him that space to kill you so he can get to heaven.
No. I would tell him, don't kill me, don't kill people. I don't think that's going to make you go to heaven.
But you wouldn't say that he's wrong. You wouldn't say that his beliefs to kill people to get to heaven are wrong.
I would say I don't think by killing people you're going to get to heaven.
You don't think so? He is not wrong for thinking that. You're going to allow him that space. If he says, well, if I'm not wrong, I'll kill you and I'll get to heaven because you're an infidel.
I disagree with him because I don't.
You're allowing that space for him to be that ideology.
I mean, that's a pretty extreme example.
That's what it comes down to for the most part because it starts small and gets bigger.
What I'm saying is
anything that's happened, so that's like saying that Hitler wasn't wrong then for his beliefs.
No, you're confusing two things here. You're confusing my opinion of things and the fact that I don't know for sure.
Right. But you're saying that because you don't know that someone isn't wrong.
I could give you a yes or no, like, is it wrong? ISIS killing
So you think it's wrong?
People. Yes, I absolutely.
You think it's wrong, but objectively speaking, it is not wrong. In the subjective terms, you think yes. Objectively, no. Because you don't know for sure of their beliefs. You can't say yes or no. You weren't there when God or Muhammad created the Quran.
You bring up some
Allah.
good points because I feel bad saying it with these extreme examples.
But
where people
that's
are
you
losing
have to
their
bring
lives.
it to the extreme example because that's where you learn the true idea. That's like saying you couldn't say that Hitler's wrong because you don't know for sure that the Jews weren't like the scum of the earth and led to the downfall of the German people. You don't know for sure, you weren't there, so Hitler, objectively speaking, couldn't be wrong. If someone said Hitler may have been right, we don't know that because we didn't let him commit his final plan. I don't think you're right, but you could be. And you, by saying you could be, you allowed that space to propagate and happen.
Well, you're poking holes in my ideology here, which I'm glad you're doing, because that's a good point. But like when it comes to killing people losing lives, I think maybe it's absolutely wrong, right? And
Okay.
I could tell him it's wrong, but all I'm trying to say is I think killing people is fucked up and you shouldn't do it because I don't think it's going to spread anything but hate and negativity.
Not according to them.
Not according to them, right? So it's you got to like put yourself in that weird position. Just like you and I think that if somebody like falls down and is hurt, like we have an instinct to like help them, right?
Right.
What if they were like you grew up in a world where like when somebody fell down and was hurt that you just blew them off or you would like make their pain worse or something.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not saying don't understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you can say that someone's wrong without. I'm not saying like fuck all of them, let's kill them. I'm just saying that what they believe is wrong, and then you should do things to kind of educate them on why their ideas may not be
right
the best,
And
then
I
you
would.
show them where objectively they are wrong.
And I would, but when it comes down to it, I don't think I can say for sure.
So you're gonna. Let's phrase this. So you're fine saying that Hitler objectively could have been right. Literally, and you can say that for anything. You live in a world where objectively nothing can be wrong.
Like 99.9%.
I can shoot you in the head right now, and I could say I thought you were trying to kill me. Subjectively, I could be true, but objectively, I'm wrong.
If you were to shoot me right now,
Yes.
and because you thought I was going to kill you,
Yes. I don't know that for sure. You don't know that for sure.
that you were trying to kill me,
Right.
I'm confused on that. Example.
So you said that you can't say that anyone's wrong because you don't know for sure.
Right.
So say, I think of how to phrase this.
Well, you bring up a great point with the Hitler and ISIS thing. When it comes to, I guess, and this is a loose ideology that it's like more, I don't want to shut down anything that I don't know for sure. That's all I'm trying to say here.
And I get that, but there's varying levels of don't know for sure.
Yeah.
So say if someone were to say like,
Agreed.
like, what's one? Like if someone were to, I don't know, just speaking in very broad terms, like capitalism is better than like socialism. You could discuss that all day,
Right.
but you don't know for sure. Like, one of my buddies and I were discussing like a tax on sugar, and we just had like different ideologies. We went at it and discussed just to kind of share those ideologies. But I said, I'm like multiple times, like, I don't know for sure. These are just how I feel and kind of like what I can ration out.
Right.
Because things like that, you don't know for sure. But there comes to a point where when there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that you have to be like, no, we know this for sure.
But that's where I disagree with you again, man.
Or not for sure, but
I like to only...
You have to live in, like, there has to be some sort of objectivity.
Sure, and that's what I'm trying to tell you is just because I don't know for sure doesn't mean I don't have a strong stance against it, right? So just because I don't know for sure, you could bring up any issue and I could tell you what side I'm on. I could tell you why. So if I have to just break it down to a yes or no, I would say yes.
But then you're allowing those wrong ideas to be spread.
But dude, you can't say they're wrong. I like to try to like live only on things that you could see, that you've experienced firsthand, that I could say for sure. So here we go.
But then you don't live in an objective reality.
I just took a sip of this water, and I could just say,
No, you didn't.
Exactly right. So
No,
I would
you
say, I can't say for sure, man.
No, you didn't.
I know I took a sip of this water. I think I took a sip of this water, but I'm not gonna say when you tell me I didn't take a sip of it. Maybe you are experiencing something.
No, you didn't. Yeah, but you know that you did. So, are you going to say that I'm wrong because I think you didn't drink your water when you
Yeah, I
know
would.
for a fact you did?
I would.
No, but I didn't. I don't believe that.
Why?
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I blinked.
That's cool.
So you didn't.
I think I took a sip of it.
No, you don't think. You know you took a sip of it. I think you didn't take a sip of it.
We're going down a rabbit hole.
I don't think you took a sip of your water.
Well, I could tell you that I did because I remember it touching my lips and I remember it being cold.
I don't think you did.
All right. If you want to live in that.
See, but that's what I'm saying is it just leads to like a very...
It leads to blurry lines and a big
and
gray
bad
area.
ideas where bad things can happen to people.
I'm trying to like sum up why I feel this way.
No, I know what you mean because unless you can experience it firsthand, that's how you want to live your life. But there has to be some sort of objectiveness, otherwise, very bad things will happen.
I see that. I see that side of it, and I think by having this conversation, I realize there are some flaws in thinking that way.
It's like when that one person said that like if you have like an alkaline body, that you like will kill cancer. Like that's not true. And if someone were to believe that bad idea, they could either not seek treatment for cancer and die, where they can try to do something where they like get some sort of alkalosis in their body, like a metabolic alkalosis, and, and they have some serious medical issues. All because that bad idea was not.
I'm not against like doing research and like basing a decision off of research. Definitely not. So,
But if I were to say like, oh, I don't think that idea is true, and you were to say I do think that idea is true, and you say, well, I think that's because I saw it on Facebook, and I say I think that's because I saw research, subjectively speaking, those hold equal value statements. Because you can hold research in as much faith as I hold a Facebook post.
right.
And objectively that allows it to happen, but going back, someone could die because of that. When we know for scientific fact that an alkaline body, one, isn't possible because your body functions in an acidic environment. Scientifically wrong, we don't know that, but there's been years of scientific observational evidence to show the pH of blood. And fuck, I forgot the second point. But yeah,
I think
like
what you're saying.
yeah, like it's information that we've know for as much of a fact as you can by years of just seeing these things that it's true. But you don't, since you don't experience it firsthand, you're not going to say, yeah, you could be true.
I guess just to sum up this is that if someone's, I like to leave all avenues open just in case, right? I will make an opinion, I will formulate an opinion and take a stance on one side or the other. But when it comes down to it, unless I still feel that way, unless I've experienced it firsthand, I can't say for 100% certainty. And I don't think anyone can.
I get that, but I'm comfortable saying that.
That's fine. Yeah, that's cool. We both function in the world that way, and we're both friends that way, so.
Well, I don't know about after this.
So this flat earther guy that I met on the airplane, this has stuck with me so bad.
Because he's true?
Yeah. I let this motherfucker talk for 45 minutes, man, before I said anything opposing him. But the part that like fucked me up the most was like the fact that he thought the universe revolved around Earth. Like we are the central point of the universe.
He could be right.
And our solar system. He could be. Yeah.
So why does it surprise you then?
Because I don't think he's right. Because I don't think he's right.
But he could be right. So why is it surprising?
He could be right because it's surprising because it's such an alternate theory that I've never heard. And his rationale for stuff was just so funny. Like, Earth is flat, we're in a dome, and we can't break out of the dome, and that air weighs us down. That's what gravity is.
Yeah, dude, they're just not
That
smart.
oxygen just weighs us down.
It's not smart. It's lacking common sense.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And those people can be in positions of power and
Yeah.
make decisions about the Earth and Space program.
Yeah.
Scary thought. Switching.
It is.
Which is why I shut that shit down.
Well, I
Science
heard
on
him
it.
out, but then I talked to him, and then You know, eventually I had to cut him off because I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I realized what he was saying. I just didn't believe in any of it.
Yeah. It's so weird seeing things like that. I just want to be like, how can you think that? Like, I like to think that I'm a pretty logical, common sense person. And I just, like, don't see any part of me that can believe something that's, like, alt news or, like, alternate news, anything, like, whatever you want to call it. It's just so, I'm like, that doesn't, but if you live in a subjective reality, anything can be true.
It's true.
I know, I just see that, I'm like, I don't know how you can believe that. Like, it goes so fundamentally against pretty much everything that we know about life in itself.
You know what it is, I think, is my thing is, like, I don't ever want to be, like, tricked into something. And I think, which is why I take all information with a grain of salt. Like, yes, I could believe certain things, but I don't ever want it to get to the point where I'm just blindly believing things. And I think a lot of people are in that point right now where they just blindly believe. And that's where it goes back to, like, the Facebook articles of just reposting without reading and stuff. And I just think that is, like, just a very dangerous, slippery slope.
Then tell them they're wrong.
That I don't ever want to fall down.
That's why you got to tell them they're wrong.
But I'm trying to think of, like, something that everyone thought was wrong. It was like, no fucking way, that's not gonna happen. And then it was like, oh, whoops, I guess we were wrong.
Well, that's what's cool about science, though, is it's willing to change and, like, all right, we were wrong.
So then, but that's me, man. I'm willing to change and say that I'm wrong. That's why I'm leaving both avenues open.
See, but that I can say, but I have no problem just, like, telling people, like, yo, it's not true.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you see? I didn't read it, falling right into the thing, but I saw that coconut oil. Did you see this?
That's unhealthy. Yeah, there's conflicting reports about it.
Yeah, that's so fucked up, man.
I haven't read enough about it.
Yeah, me neither. I need to. But I heard the article I saw.
I know that there's a lot of skepticism about the American Heart Association report because it made a lot of, like, far-fetched correlations. And, like, it said that you can deep fry something so long as it's in, like, monounsaturated, like, vegetable oil. And I'm like, I feel like deep frying something is much worse than eating something with coconut. Deep fry. Yeah.
That's so intense. Deep fry.
Yeah.
What's the difference between deep frying and frying?
I think deep frying just gives, like, a crunchier taste.
Deep fry.
Dude, do you watch Wong's World? It's on Viceland.
I need to watch more.
It's
Viceland.
so I was watching it, and it's just cool because it's kind of like a cultural and food show. So he kind of shows how, like, food is intertwined with the culture of, like, either a country, a city, just like a race in general. And so he was in DC after, or I think right around the inauguration. And he went to one of, like, the most segregated areas of DC, and he was eating this fried chicken. And the dude that made it was just on it. Like, they're filming this, and the dude is just on his phone with Eddie Wong talking to him. And he was like, man, this is really good. And the chef's, like, just on his phone casual, like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, why is this dude on his phone when they're filming this for the show? And he was like, man, like, this is, like, really, like, I've never had breading this good before. Like, it's kind of, like, crispy, but it's not too thick. It's pretty light. He's like, yeah, it's good. I don't know. And he's just so, like, nonchalant about it. And finally, like, he started talking when he put his phone down. And they got into it. But I'm like, this dude was just so casual, just on his phone. This guy on, like, a big TV show is complimenting him. He's like, yeah, not even, like, a thanks. Just, yeah, no, it's good.
It just, like, was that just a culture thing, or?
No, I mean, I think he was just casual about it. I mean, it's not like he was connecting, like, the food restaurant itself to, like, the community, but just, like, showing the guy. It was just, like, I don't know, it was a funny thing because he was just nonchalant.
Just, like, really chill.
Like,
yeah,
I know, thanks. It's good. I make some good chicken. It's fine.
Kind of ungrateful.
No, he's just casual about it.
Huh. Well, I feel like it'd be nice to be like, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I worked hard on this chicken.
It was pretty funny, though.
Do you fuck with sushi? Or do you eat fish?
No, I don't eat fish.
No?
No fish, no meat. Not trying to drain the ocean. I
am. 35 pieces of sushi at a time.
That's cool, man. Your kid just won't have any fish to enjoy.
Well...
It'll be a toxic sludge pit.
Well, yeah. That's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. I just love sushi so much.
I'm just totally cool with it.
No, I know it's not cool. It's one of those things where it's like, fuck, man, you gotta enjoy some things.
At the expense of the earth, that's fine.
Yeah, Don't be one of those people.
Oh, dude, I'm for sure gonna be one of these people now. I'm usually not, for the most part. Like up at school, whenever one of my buddies would eat meat, he'd be like, "Oh man, dude, this chicken's so good." I'm like, "Oh yeah, does like the fear hormones circulating in there? Maybe like they kind of marinated it in some tears while they were chopping its head off." He's like, "That's actually what makes it taste even better. That's why it's so juicy, is those fear tears."
What about responsibly sustained meat? Is that okay?
What do you mean?
Like, that doesn't impact the environment negatively?
I don't think that's possible. Well, do you mean like
small farm, grow your own,
that's
raise
still not
chickens and
it's
kill them when they're at the proper age and then use all the parts of the chicken?
See, on food, again I have to check it, but on one of the documentaries I saw, it's that so factory farms are worse for the animal, but they take up less room for the environment, like less room, like environmentally wise.
Wait, worse for the animal?
Right, because they're treated
but
like shit.
Better for the environment?
Or I don't know if it's better for the environment, but they take up less square footage because the animals are living in such a crap compartment.
Okay.
Compared to like one of like those cage-free farms where the animals get more room, they eat more grass, and I guess like the grass produces like higher quantities of methane in their flatulence, which is worse for the ozone, but it's better for the animal.
Really?
So you have to pick for something like that. I don't know. That's just what I saw, and I think like on how they explained it, it made sense. But yeah, like even stuff like that, I won't, just because I don't know. Just because, so one of my buddies had cows, and even if it's cage-free farm fresh, or not free range for like a cow, they can eat grass until the last 2 weeks of their life, and then they're still fed like the typical like corn, soy, wheat monoculture to get them even fatter. So they'll live like a normal life for most, but then like the last 2 weeks before they die, they're still getting that typical factory farm treatment.
Well, they're not getting like abused or anything, right?
Right, but they're still getting just like that, kind of.
Well, if that's what makes it taste good, what's the problem?
I don't know. It's weird because it's not like natural, so they're not eating like that natural diet. So the meat is going to be altered in some way.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd walk out with a machete and chop a bear's head off in a minute, though.
What? So you'd kill a bear with a machete?
Yeah, why not?
But we can't kill chickens
humanely. No, if it's in the wild, that's just like what the ancestors did.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I mean,
and
I was just wondering where you sat on that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. And that's one that I can get a little bit more behind, but I just because I don't know, because I know that like free range or cage-free farm fresh, it has a wide variety of treatment in the animal. So you can have people that give like the bare minimum, which maybe they have like half an acre, so which is still an unnaturally small area, and they have like a little bit of grass for like most of the day, but they're still fed. Like, I don't know the regulations, and I know that there's a very wide array.
So what you're saying is you don't know for sure?
Unless I like research the company, and so if I went to like a butcher, say, who went out and like I could see the cows, he's like, like these are the ones that were in pasture now. We're gonna bring them in next week for slaughter. Like, which one do you want? And if something like that, I would probably go, yeah, sure. Or if I could like legit pick out the chickens, I would. Okay. But since I don't actually know the conditions,
right,
like that.
Oh, you kind of sound like me there. You don't really know for sure.
Right, what they're saying, and then if I go on and because that's like a company that I'm trusting, not like a scientific community. I have more faith in scientists than companies. Okay. Because companies are looking for profit, so they're going to label things to get the most money. Whereas scientists, in theory, are based on the betterment of humanity and understanding the universe and life as we know it.
Based on the betterment of understanding the universe.
No, it's like science is essentially understanding the concept of life.
Yeah.
It's not trying to make money.
Right. What? What about scientific
sugar studies?
Yeah,
that are funded. That have
been, like,
but those they have to disclose any conflict of interest. So like any studies that I've read for
maybe nowadays.
Yeah, and I think now they kind of reformed it, but like anything
back then, not so much.
Is that now like any studies I read, it says like it lists conflicts of interest. It says like where the study was performed, who the like scientists were, what university or what like corporation they're out of. So you can kind of like see like there's some foo-foo-ness here.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah,
because you don't want to just believe what anyone's saying. You got to have a little shadow of doubt in there.
Yeah, you want to have some sort of basis for your belief. And then I believe it is fact until something else comes around.
Woo. Well, that's good, and that's a rational way to think about things.
Rational is what I try to do. Yeah. I feel like I'm almost too rational to a point.
No, yeah.
No, I mean not like. I mean, yeah. I'll tell people they're wrong because it doesn't function.
And I'm not saying that's wrong at all, man. And just to clarify,
I just need to be like more practice in.
Just to clarify, I don't ever think it's okay to kill somebody just because you want to or because you think it's right. Just to clarify with ISIS and the Hitler thing we were talking about, I will always say, do not kill anybody. I don't think you should kill them because they are conflicting your viewpoint.
But why?
Because I think it's wrong. Because I don't think that by taking a life spreads any positivity into the world.
So you think, but you don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that.
You don't know that killing someone is wrong.
No, I don't. But dude, I'm not gonna. But I will take a stance on that, and 100%, I'll never kill anybody because I disagree with them or encourage anybody to.
Which is why we need more people like you. Which is why we need more people like you who will not kill people.
Yeah.
And we need to tell people who do kill people that it's wrong.
For sure. And yeah, and I would
tell
always
them
do
that it is wrong.
I would tell
objectively.
100%. I would
objectively, not subjectively.
Dude, I can only speak on what I believe. And I believe that you shouldn't kill anyone ever.
That's your belief.
There's
as much foundation in saying that you believe that instead of saying that you know for sure that you shouldn't kill anyone because we value human life and that it's like a pretty precious thing.
Would it make you feel better if I said to someone, I know for a fact that you shouldn't kill anybody, but like internally, I just kept it to myself that like probably.
It's just like this little whisper inside. You like. Just take like 3 steps away. Be like, I'm sorry, I said I know for sure, but I really think probably. No, you never know.
So that's what it is, man. So no killing of anyone.
No killing. Yeah, I'm cool with not killing people. I'm cool with not. And I mean, see, I will say that it's hard to go in like that term because you have to look at it like because there are people that like feel like certain tribes that they'll kill people because like they'll kill babies because they're not going to survive anyway, and that it's better for like it's better for the gander.
Yeah.
And that I like it's just, but I will say that it's still wrong to kill. Like there are.
I don't think. I don't think we're good. Here, let me address that really quick. I can't connect with iCloud. The fuck was I saying this whole podcast? I don't know.
About subjectivity and killing people, maybe.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in like freedom of beliefs and like you should be able to do whatever you want unless here's where I get unless you're harming somebody else. If you're taking away from their like livelihood, I don't think you should do it. But
then you don't know that for sure for anything. Because so you believe in freedom of belief unless it takes away from someone's livelihood. Let's go to climate change.
Okay.
Climate change, there will be death due to climate change. You're literally taking away their livelihood. There will be deaths because of people with fundamental religious beliefs who are not founded in logic and ration, taking away livelihood.
Okay.
So you're willing to concede now that objectively they're probably wrong.
No, what I would do is encourage people to practice things that is not going to lead to more climate change.
But what if they don't believe that?
Then don't do it.
And then people will die.
Probably.
You're cool with that?
I told you what I think you should do. I can't make you do anything, man. When you make that decision now and people start dying, it's on you. I did my part. You didn't. Why didn't you listen?
But what? Okay, so like in the climate change instance, so say like in Phoenix, it's like 120 degrees.
Yeah.
So say if an old person dies because of the heat related to climate change, what if they just say they died because of the heat? The heat is unrelated to climate change.
It's not on my shoulders.
That death isn't on them. They died because of climate change, because they thought it was a fallacy, but so they don't believe that the death that occurred because of the increase in temperature, unforeseen before, is due to them.
Well, they fucked up.
but they don't believe that, so they don't care.
Well, then fine, don't care.
See, that just leads to people dying. And
But I can't
force
force anyone, man. Like, that's the thing.
right, you can't force, but you can tell them that they're wrong
And I would.
and why they're wrong.
And I would.
But you can't tell them. No, you wouldn't. So you would tell them why they're wrong, or what you believe in.
I would. It's the same thing.
No, because if you tell them what you believe in, you're not explicitly saying you're wrong. This is what I believe. If you say you're not right because of this, you're laying the fact out there.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would go with the second one.
You're not right because of this.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're taking a more objective stance now.
Well, what was the first option?
Saying I believe.
No, I thought you said I'm wrong. You're wrong because.
Right. No, the first option was I believe this.
Oh.
You could be right still.
Well, I wouldn't say it in that way, dude. The way I would present it is, I think climate change is, you should stop contributing to climate change because it's negatively.
But that doesn't mean anything, because I could still be right. Because by
you
saying
as the person.
so by saying you should not commit to climate change, and if I say, well, climate change is a fallacy, you're by not leading off like, no, we have a reason to say like why the climate change denial belief is wrong.
Okay, so is it just how I'm phrasing it? If I were to phrase it like, no, I think you're wrong. Well, see, I can't just be like, no, you're wrong. I can, man. I won't do it.
So you're not.
I won't do it, dude.
I get it, because like you don't. Yeah. I understand where you're coming from, but I just put I don't know. It could just be that I read a lot of Sam Harris, but by not rejecting the idea of wrongness based on a lot of belief, like a lot of scientific consensus, and having a scientific background, I have faith in the community at large. When there's a lot of evidence for something, you believe it, just because that's our fundamental assessment on life. And that if you don't say that people are wrong, you allow the bad ideas to propagate, which, I mean, that could just lead to the end of humanity, and it's just survival of the fittest. We weren't the fittest, adios. But it's just, I don't know, I'd rather see the human race prosper.
So would I, but I think it's just like more of an individual thing. Because,
okay, but think about it like this: if it wasn't for people saying you're wrong, we could still have slaves.
True.
But you wouldn't be okay with that, but you wouldn't be willing to say that people who had slaves are wrong then, because you don't know for sure that Africans aren't a lesser human being.
Let's say, the problem with this conversation is it gets so hypothetical. So let's say I lived in the South. That's where the
philosophical realm works.
Lived in the South during the time of slavery.
Right.
And I experience it as I do right now. It's my same person, same consciousness that believes that people are created equal. So what I would do if I had a plantation, I just wouldn't hire slaves.
But that would.
And I would tell my neighbors, like, hey, you're treating these people really bad. Like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't have slaves. They're people. You should get rid of your slaves.
But why?
Because he's a human being, and
you don't know that.
And you're beating him.
You don't know for sure that he's a human being. You did not do the.
Looks like a human being.
You did not do the DNA. You didn't do the DNA sampling, so you don't know that for sure.
All right, then keep your slaves. But what I think you're doing is wrong.
See, but you just said keep your slaves.
Go ahead. Keep your slaves.
So you'd be fine with him keeping slaves because...
I told him what I think he should do, and I told him why.
So you're fine with him having...
that he's a human being.
You're fine with him having slaves then. So you would say that there's nothing...
What you're doing is fucked up, man, but he's a human being, and you shouldn't have slaves.
See, I wouldn't.
But you can't... It's not my slave.
But then that could allow for slavery to still exist today.
Why? Because I did my part.
But you wouldn't tell him that he's wrong. You would say, all right, fine, keep your slaves.
Well, maybe I would help the slaves break out.
Okay, so then by doing that means he's wrong.
Of course he's wrong.
But that's not what you would tell him.
I would tell him he's wrong. Hey man, you're wrong. Why you're wrong to have slaves? Why do you have these slaves? These are human beings, and you're treating them really bad. You should get rid of your slaves. Get rid of your slaves. But
if he says that you don't know that for sure because you haven't seen the DNA proof, and if you were to say, so you wouldn't say, well, like,
I would say, like, well, you're right. I haven't seen the DNA proof, but based on everything I know, this guy looks like a human being, and I don't think he should be treated that way.
So I'm wrong as a slave owner.
Yeah, you're wrong.
See, but that's not what you were saying before. Before you were saying you wouldn't say someone's wrong based off the science because you don't know the science for sure.
Fine,
I'm walking you around here.
That's fine. No. Expose the problem. I could say yeah, dude, but that's a belief that you're wrong. Like, I still have like a stance. You're wrong.
See, no, by saying you're wrong, it's like a belief is like something you. I'm trying to think of how I could put it.
But then, that's like telling I don't know. It's I can still have like a strong belief on something, but I'm also a firm believer of like, yes, slavery was horrible, and it's one of the worst tragedies that's ever happened. So maybe when it comes to like human equality, let me retract. Maybe when it comes to like human equality or people dying is when you need to take a firm, hard, you are wrong stance.
All right, so let me ask this. So you said that.
Are you hot, by the way?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm kind of hot too.
No, it's fine. So you said in that example that like science shows that X, Y, and Z, like whatever, we're all humans, we're all equal. So, and you said, how you phrased, you said, you are wrong, science shows this. But you haven't seen the DNA samples, obviously.
Right.
So that has as much scientific evidence as you telling a flat earther that they're wrong based on science. So if you're going to use science for one thing, you have to, in theory, extrapolate it out.
I haven't used science for anything.
But in the last example, you just said that, like, the hypothetical slavery situation.
Based on what I've seen.
They are wrong.
Right.
So, but you wouldn't tell that, like, a climate change person that they're wrong.
I think you're wrong. Okay, slavery and climate change are different. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because now I'm setting some parameters. I think when you're talking about human rights and you're talking about the possibility of death, or like human livelihood, I think now I will take a hard stance of like what you're doing is wrong.
Like more objectively,
like
okay.
What you're doing is wrong. But when it comes to like climate change, something that I'm passionate about and believe that is true, I feel more inclined to say like what I think you're wrong.
So, okay, I can get that.
But now,
because I do get where you're coming from. Like, you haven't actually seen all the evidence. You're essentially trusting. Like, I get that.
It's just.
But let's look at something like, so if someone.
I think I know where you're gonna go with this.
But if someone does say like, yeah, I don't believe in climate change.
Yeah.
Would you say you're like, honestly, based on everything we know, you're wrong?
Based on everything we know, I think it's silly that you believe that. You know.
So they're not. You're walking around it here. It's very impressive.
I'm not trying to be a dick.
No,
either,
I know
this,
what you mean.
This is what I would say to people. So, but I'm super glad that we were
so like if I were to say
this.
like, yeah, I don't believe in climate change. It's like all a hoax. Would you say like
like that you're one of you're
'cause like
2% of the population? That's a really small minority of people. Why do you think that?
But so like if they were just spewing out bad information that goes against everything we know.
Like give me an
example. Because I like in this point I do think that the phrasing is important. So like for like I will agree like 100%, and I kind of agree with you more on this too. But like in the phrasing, I think that saying like, because I've gotten really big in like the idea of words, that I think that by saying I don't agree with what you believe in, it still gives a little bit of room to have that belief instead of saying like, so even like by framing it based on what we know, I don't agree with you. It's like makes it gives it the rationale that there's still like an agreement and a disagreement. When like, because like, okay, 97% of scientists tell you that the sun's going to explode, you're going to believe the sun's going to explode, and you'd probably take that for fact. But 97%, so like if someone said, no, I don't think so, I would be more inclined to say like, no, 97%, pretty high odds, I'm going to say you're wrong. So I think there by saying like, I don't agree with you, it gives it
You're giving them a little wiggle room, and you're giving them a little...
and it kind of puts it on like the similar, so saying like, even a guy, I guess, kind of going on to like other conspiracy theories like chemtrails or like flat earth or something like that, where it's general consensus by saying I don't agree with you, even though you don't know it for sure, it still gives it like a little bit of...
Yeah, but that's okay, man. I'm not trying to shut it down, because that's fine. And through my perspective...
But in terms of like other things like flat earth, stuff like that, I don't care. That's...
Like flat earth, okay, I don't think... So
that's something I'm much more inclined to say I disagree with you on because X, Y, and Z of the science. And I'll probably be like a dick about it and be like, yeah, you know, like the scientific community, people that have gone to space, kind of a lot of people, I tend to believe them instead of some crazy person on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because that has still could have an effect on someone like long term by propagating the idea, and then they can get into positions of power. But in terms of things that have like real world implications, like climate change or deforestation,
exactly.
I think those are a little bit more important, where you have to be like, because that can actually like have a impact on us now even.
Yeah. No.
And
Totally.
in terms of the future.
See, that's I'm gonna throw a little wood in your fire. You're right about like slavery, human rights, Hitler, climate change. I think there needs to be less wiggle room.
Yeah.
Because that could, and most likely will, negatively impact the world.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about like people that believe the Earth is flat,
Yeah.
that's more like, all right, that's like a little more wiggle room, because most just like curiosity, and by him thinking the world is flat, I think is less dangerous than him thinking climate change is not real.
Yeah.
Or thinking that slavery
Definitely.
is correct.
Yeah. Because
You know
it's
what I mean?
much. I just let.
So take that mentality right there.
Yeah.
Of the flat Earth, of how we give them a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
And I just think that for me, that bleeds into climate change, and that bleeds into like the slavery argument a little more than it might for somebody else.
Yeah. I don't know.
But but there's like tiers. What I'm
Yeah.
realizing, there's like tiers of shit. So
Yeah.
I guess on my top tier of like, and I'm so glad we're having this conversation. On my top tier of like no bullshit, like you are wrong, it would be things like that affect human rights, that involve killing, and involve spreading negativity directly. And then like second tier would be things like so in the top tier you got like slavery, you got like ISIS killing, hard nose. In the second tier you have like climate change, like still very important, still could affect people.
Yeah.
A little bit of wiggle room where it's like, I'm not going to shut you down because I don't know for sure. Top tier, I know for sure. Second tier, I don't know for sure. Third tier is like flat Earth.
You just kind of laugh at.
Kind of more fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And like not directly harming people.
Yeah. The only thing that I like just thought of is that usually the flat earthers kind of fit all three.
Yeah.
And they're more the conspiracy
What
theorists.
would be like a top tier, like no bullshit that you'd have to tell a flat earther they're wrong?
What do you mean?
So you're saying...
Well, usually like people that believe flat Earth usually don't believe climate change.
Oh yeah.
Usually.
they fall into all the categories.
they just don't believe anything, or they're like the conspiracy theorists that believe in Pizzagate and all that stuff.
Pizzagate. I heard that argument for the first time, and
dude, that's like, and that's like some things like that. I'm like,
see that, but when
you don't know that for true, but you're wrong. Like that's been so widely.
We're just fundamentally different in that way. I can't say that they're wrong, man. I mean, first of all, here's why. Let me just come at you as somebody from my perspective. Have you read all 30,000 emails? Have you seen any emails?
No, but I have enough.
How could you? No, but how could you say that then? How could you give it a hard no?
Because you
haven't seen any of the evidence.
I have a subjective trust in a large majority of journalists out there. Not that they don't have a viewpoint, but especially after listening to Dan Harris on the Joe Rogan podcast, he does just seem very concerned with the betterment of humankind.
I don't think anyone...
And I know that a lot of journalists did read those emails. Like people, they were released to, like, I forgot which one. Like whichever ones were released, I know that journalists did go through them. And I do have some base level confidence, not a lot, that if there was something that big of a child molestation ring going... I mean, I don't doubt that there's some funny business just based on like the Dennis Hackersley, whatever one of the Speaker of the Houses was. Like, I don't doubt that there's like cover-ups, but I'm more comfortable not believing the wide scaleness of it, because Pizzagate was a very widespread.
Pizzagate, I love that name.
It was a very widespread thing that was so it went from like child molesting politicians were having secret meetings in the basement of a pizza parlor with like satanic rituals on the wall, and that like the logo was some sort of like international child molester thing.
So But coming from like an Alex
Like-
Jones type would say like that's why you're falling exactly into, and I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying I'm right here, but you're falling exactly into what they wanted you to buy into. It sounds so fucking crazy that these politicians had a child molesting ring in the bottom of a pizza parlor that you dismiss it immediately.
That's
And
how you become like
well,
psychotic.
that's exactly what they want, and I don't believe in fucking Pizzagate either. But I'm just saying I think it's a really a cool perspective that people that do believe in it have, because it sounds crazy, but that's
then
why
someone-
people dismiss it immediately
But then
after
someone
not going
went and
over any of the evidence.
But
And
you
then
have people
can't
that believe it based off of what they read online and not because I
But
guarantee
you're
you that
believing it based off what you read online, the journalists.
right. And so, but the people
So
that
which journalists are you gonna trust?
but the people
People
that
came
no
out
no no
both ways on that.
journalists or Reddit, because that was a big Reddit like sub channel thing. I don't know if it was ever actually reported by like modern news. Like it was probably made like Infowars would be it. And I put much less faith in that because they make a living off of the people that have a very small trust in reality as we know it. They don't live in a world of facts. Because
I might be going over the top with my skepticism, but I think you're a little. I think you need
no,
to
I
turn
completely
up the skepticism a bit.
understand the idea of like because they're like that's what a lot of the reports that came out about like the Democratic Party came out and sabotaging against Bernie Sanders in favor of Hillary. Donna Brazile, the DNC,
shit goes
the
on, man.
DNC chair, Donna Brazile fed her town hall questions. Like I know, and they didn't report it. I know that happens. So I do hold some mild level of I hold like a level of skepticism in the media, and I do take it for a grain of salt. But I hold that in higher regard compared to something.
Alex Jones,
yes,
Infowars.com.
right. Just based on like what their report has come true compared to Alex Jones, who makes reports and then has to redact them because they're not true, or because he even admitted that Pizzagate isn't true after someone went and shot up the restaurant and injured people. So then that's what happens when you say like, well, I don't know for true. So you give that person an ability to go and shoot up because you say, well, I don't know for sure.
But that's not a direct catalyst of that person going to shoot up.
Yeah, he did. He went and shot up the pizza parlor because of Pizzagate.
But that guy has a fucking mental illness.
We don't know that. He could have just been so worked up and so mad.
Dude, if you can't control your temper to the point where you have to kill people, then I think you have a mental illness.
But how does that go from propagating this news? Like, see, like, so I guess not like the shooting, but more so the inability to say that it's wrong instantly when we have no proof that it's right. Because it wasn't even,
But we don't have.
but it wasn't even like they had direct evidence. They were making correlations that hot dogs meant child like sex parties.
That's true.
So like that has much like if they say it's too good to be true, it probably is. If it sounds a little bit too like out there, like it has to pass the smell test. If it smells like shit, it's probably not true. Like that's like one of like the first things we learned in our like evidence-based practice class. When if you read a study and it just doesn't seem right, it's probably not. Like your intuition is kind of a good thing. So if you look something like that, by not saying that Alex Jones was wrong, it allows him the ability to propagate this. And yes, someone shooting up the pizza parlor probably did have a mental illness and that played an effect. But by not saying that he was wrong instantly based on what we know, it allowed him to continue propagating this and gave him a voice. In which case he ended up redacting it later, saying it was wrong, which
You can't, dude. I think it is crazy that if Alex Jones got any blame for that. Any blame.
he was the sole propagator.
Dude, that person couldn't control themselves. I should be able to go right up to somebody's
But if it
face
wasn't for Alex
and say,
Jones-
fuck you and your mother, and
Right.
you shouldn't shoot me in the face.
But if it wasn't for Alex Jones making these things and taking it from a Reddit forum and making it news, it never would have had any traction.
But news is Infowars. That's not like a established news source.
But
Dude,
some people, this is what. So,
that is like 90% that guy's fault, I would say.
But if it wasn't for Alex Jones making that a legitimate news story, it never would have gotten the credibility, and that guy probably never would have shot up.
But that's bullshit because
I'm not going to blame him, Alex Jones specifically,
Yeah.
but the fact that
he truly believed that, and he based
and he was
it-
wrong. He admitted he was wrong.
Okay, so then
and which is why you should be able to say that people are wrong.
He shouldn't get penalized for.
I'm not
reporting
penalizing him.
something.
I'm not
But you
penalizing
are,
him for
because
the
you're
shooting.
But you're saying it's partially his fault.
I'm saying that
So
like
he's getting that's negative. That's going on him now.
I'm not saying that him specifically is not responsible. The fact that he propagated the story, look at it cause and effect. I don't think that he should be responsible for someone shooting someone. That's a lot of issues. But effect was someone shooting someone. The cause was him reporting that story.
So
I'm not going to say he's to blame, but he caused it. Like
he had something to do with it.
Right. He like I will like I don't want to put blame, but in terms of like the cause effect, he has some part of that cause by putting out that story and giving some credibility to fake news.
So if somebody,
which is why I'm very apt of saying like, dude, that's not right. And I mean, like I said, I get it. I try to keep very skeptic eyes, which is why I try to Google everything, get a lot of different viewpoints in my views before I construct them, and I talk to people who have differing viewpoints because I want to get all these because I want to get these different views. But when it comes down to it, if it seems to, if like it doesn't pass the smell test, it's probably not good. Mm-hmm. When all signs point to something being like legit.
So if somebody were to I feel weird saying it. If somebody were to harm President Trump,
mm-hmm.
Nobody harmed President Trump.
Yeah.
If somebody were to do that,
mm-hmm.
the way Kathy Griffin did, and that
she was wrong.
Gross photo.
I'm 100% willing to say that.
So if somebody actually were to do that in reality,
yep.
Would Kathy Griffin be to blame? In the exact same way that she displayed that, and nobody harmed the President of the United States. Nobody do that.
I won't say to blame, but she did have a cause in it. And I could be doing what you were doing earlier about saying they're not wrong, but you believe differently. I won't, because I feel like
she had a cause, but I
don't know if she's. I wouldn't say she's to blame.
Yeah,
she definitely had a cause because she could have like put that idea in someone's head.
Yeah,
but
I just that feels wrong to me. I don't know why.
What, to blame someone?
No, just to
do what she did.
No, of course to do it. No, I mean like, it seems wrong. It feels wrong to me that like she would get blamed for that, or that she would even be in the conversation. Mm-hmm. When I think, like, I don't know. It just seems wrong to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think just, well, I guess, do people have control of their own volition, or do they just do things because of other people?
You would like to think people have control.
No, I'm the complete opposite.
Do you think people do things because they're?
I think to some sort we're all determined, yeah, or not determined, but I don't believe in free will.
Oh, let's get into that.
I think,
need to take a piss, and then we're getting into that.
All right, let's do it.
Let's get into free will.
It always comes down to free will,
doesn't it? And we're back with international skeptic Eric Chesnitsky, who...
I'm not the skeptic.
Who says...
You're the skeptic.
Free will is not true.
Yeah, I don't believe in it.
All right, so let's define free will.
Your complete volition to act free of any past influence. Like you're acting from a blank slate with each decision.
Okay. Why don't you think that's true?
Because you don't. Just based on everything we know, that there's always going to be some sort of antecedent.
So it's predetermined. So before...
No, not predetermined.
Oh.
Just we don't have free will. Because it's based on either like your pure consciousness isn't going to select anything. I think it's all based on like a lot of like hormones, past decisions, your psyche.
Okay. I can buy into that a little bit. So if you didn't buy those pants,
mm-hmm.
we might not have talked about Guatemala today. Or we might let's talk completely unrelated. If you didn't buy those pants, then we might not have talked about Kathy Griffin today. Is that right?
Kind of, yeah. Because essentially yes.
Okay. I can buy into that.
Yeah, so like everything has like a pre-existing rationale for why it happened.
Okay, I thought you were saying that things are predetermined.
Oh no, I don't.
Yeah. Like, before I go to reach for my water bottle, my water bottle's just getting all the examples today. Before I go to reach for this water bottle, it was already predetermined that at 12:13 that I was going to, like, drink this water.
Yeah, I don't think that at all. I think it's just, like, it's because, so again, I read a Sam Harris book, and then I read something about, like, the, like, a lot of the science behind obesity and, like, metabolic disease, and I was always under, the assumption that, like, yeah, like, your hormones and your genes play an effect, but you can always choose to, like, not do something. But I think that it comes to the fact where those genes and those metabolic signals, and just kind of using, like, obesity as an example, like, I think that there's neural firings in your brain that say you're hungry, go to the fridge. And then, so I don't think that it's, like, I think a lot of time it's just more people acting out of, like, that auto circuitry. And say, like, if you want it's like if you are hungry and you're looking in the fridge, the fact that you picked, say like a sandwich instead of, I don't know, instead of like a bag of chips. Yeah, like you may not know the reason, and you may think that you're choosing it freely. Like, so it's like if you were to go to the fridge and I were to ask you like, oh, why did you pick the milk instead of the water? You'd be like, I don't know, I just wanted the milk. I would say that there was some sort of neurological firing that we don't know that made you pick the milk.
I would agree with that. Yeah, that's not unreasonable. So what's the alternate perspective for people who go, yeah, I believe in free will. I believe that every decision I make, I just make it because I want to.
Yeah, that's it. They just act on their own volition. Nothing is.
But that doesn't make sense because, first of all, how could you even make a decision out of free will unless you are like a newborn infant baby who just came out of the womb? You know, like
yeah.
Well, even then, like you've had past experiences,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's from my experience. It seems more of like a moderate. So like some things, can like influence you in like what your desires are, but you have. Like the free will to overcome those desires at any moment. And something like that, I'm more likely to say, I mean, yeah, but that going back, it's like a 97%, like a 3% chance. I'm willing to say that 97% chance you can round up to 100 at that point.
Mr. Scientist.
You know, I mean, it's because I mean,
no, that's not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable. Okay, I can.
But even that, I would actually say like no, 100%, because I think of like when I'm really hungry at night and I look at the fridge and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna eat anything. And then say I go back to watching TV, and then I go back like 15 minutes later and grab something. It's like I may have thought I said, no, I'm not gonna eat anything now, and then put the fridge under my own volition because of like my own willpower. But those some deep neural circuits that I don't know about could be firing, saying like, no, you're not hungry, go sit down. And then 15 minutes later when I think, no, actually I'm kind of hungry, I'll go grab something.
Yeah.
Like even if just because we don't know, just because we don't know why we did something doesn't mean that we freely chose it.
I think it boils down to like human biology too, right? Like in the food example, like you have to eat to survive. So in that example, like you are wired to like want food and to eat so that you can sustain life. Yeah. You know?
Or even like, okay, it's like, why did you put that shirt on today?
Yeah, I don't know.
See, and like that's like kind of like one of those things like if
here we go. I put this because I was listening to this band this morning, and I was just like, oh, cool. Like I was just so impressed by their music that I was like, man, I want to represent this music through like a visual format, you know?
Yeah. So things like that, people will be like, yeah, I just chose it, and I'd be willing to get them.
No,
like,
I feel like most people would be on that side. I just when
like,
you say that, it's like, what?
Wait, most people would be on like, yeah, things are always influenced.
That you're on, yeah, that
always influenced.
That don't believe in free will.
But even like there could be people that like say like, yeah, I don't know, I just chose to pick it, and you can be like, did you though?
So, but if you were to say like, I chose this shirt because it's colorful,
that would be like an idea of like something being determined. Whereas like me, if I were to say, I picked these pants, I don't know, just because, I don't know why, I just picked them because I could and I wanted to.
Right.
So I mean, I would always say that there's something deeper on there. Not a free will person.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with it. It just sounds so abrasive when you first hear it. It's like, what?
Yeah. No, I'm not a determinist.
You saying we're all robots?
Pretty much. Hey, give it enough time, we'll be robots. Dude, I was watching that Year Million, and it was really weird. Like this one I was watching is this. It was like it's not gonna do anything because it was in the very, very beginning.
Is it a movie or a series?
It's like kind of like a docudrama, I guess you could say. It takes it's like this hypothetical Year Million when life on Earth is so fundamentally different that it's like a different era essentially than what we know today. So say like us compared to like, I don't know, like living in like the year 500 AD or something like that, where it's so fundamentally different that we don't recognize it as familiar to us. So this family was in a car accident and like their daughter died, and I guess like the ambulance was all like automated and everything, and this little bot came out and said like her brain can be digitized, you have 5 minutes to make a decision. So what they did is they created like legit clone of their daughter, but it was a robot. And it was just so weird because.
But did it look real, like hyper realistic?
No, I mean like this is again like the year, so it's like a hypothetical, just distant future point.
Yeah. When
like with the hypothesis that like this is what we're on, like on course for. But yeah, like it was like, so it would say like, and again, this was based off a TV show, but it was like essentially it would look like me, like how you see me now. The only difference is instead of my consciousness, it would be a robot. But it created, but they discussed this idea of like the main problem with artificial intelligence is instead of creating just like strictly back and forth of just kind of like basic stuff, I guess you could say like the I want to say like the Watson thing that they're pushing now, that like the AI that's super smart.
Yeah.
I think that is like the older technology, and the new one now is called the neural network. So they essentially found a way to like create a brain that's like constantly altering its neural connectivity based on like responses and its like past questions and like past experiences or something like that. And that's what they can put in now. So it's essentially like it's not like you're talking to a robot. The only difference is it's like you're talking to me because of they got so good at this like neural net type of technology that it can function like a human brain. The only difference, it's like you wouldn't be able to tell the difference talking to me.
Whoa.
And it could take like download all my other past life experiences. Essentially me, it's just a robot.
Oh, that's cool.
I was watching that and I'm like, whoa, this is so weird.
Wow. It's kind of Black Mirror-ish. I don't know if you ever seen that episode where the guy, it's called Be Right Back, I think it is. Really good. It's just similar. Like, I won't ruin it for anyone, but it's like this guy, goes off on a he's moved into a house with his wife, and he goes off on a car ride to the store, and he's not back for hours. Turns out he dies in a car accident.
Yeah.
But it's like so advanced in the future that you can do the same thing. She can decide to do this thing that downloads his personality into a robot that looks just like him, based on social media though. So when he finally gets created and she like kind of grows him in the bathtub, it's weird. He comes out and he looks perfectly human and he acts just like him. Yeah. But and like his responses are the same, but it's just based on his social media. So he's kind of emotionless, like to the point where.
Sounds like me. Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing though. It's like it was really interesting, and it just like turns out that you should watch it. But it's good. It's the same kind of thing. Where you download someone's consciousness, but it wasn't through their brain. Yeah. It was through because he was dead. Like they couldn't do anything with the body. Like it was just through his online presence.
That's so weird to think about. Like what is like, because what if his online presence was like kind of different than who he is?
Right, and that's kind of what it was. Like he was very similar, but like to his wife, like she knew. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's like, because you know how people are like kind of like, I don't know if it's like different with online. Yeah. But just like weird of like how much of you post is like actually representative like of you.
Right, but this was also a little advanced too. So it was like video, like the software based it off videos of him interacting like at a birthday party, or like videos of him talking to his friends. So they could base
they got the videos.
Voice inflection, huh?
No, they got the videos. Geotagging cameras. Mic drop that one.
Just another reason. So he was like that. Like he had the mannerisms of himself. It's interesting, dude. You should. That's. I know Black Mirror kind of gets like dark and freaky sometimes, but that's not a scary episode at all. It's just like really.
Is it Black Mirror, Stranger Things? Or are there two of them?
Black Mirror is a British series show that is like a different actor every episode, and they just kind of it has a lot to do with AI, and they just touch on like cool subjects. And then Stranger Things is the one with the kids.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I've never seen either.
Black Mirror.
I'm a big fan of the AI though. I always like seeing what's gonna come along.
It's pretty fucked. Like it's creepy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it far away. No, I don't think it's. I mean, I think it's like anything. You just have to be able to use it like in proper terms or in like moderation.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
I don't know. I think we're kind of on the way there though, because you think like people are so.
It's the music from last time.
People are so engrossed like in what's going on online that I think it's only a matter of time until we somehow like merge. I don't know. I think it's weird to think about because I can't. Like that's one of those things where I could see it happening where we somehow become one intertwined with technology, because I think that's going to be like one of the only ways that we actually survive, like how, like what we're doing to the earth, and it just kind of seems like
probably. I
don't know, it's like looking at like how things occur. I feel like it's like kind of like something that's inevitable to happen, where we somehow form a symbiotic world, whether it's like where we become ingrained in technology, or where we like
Our technology becomes ingrained in us.
yeah, something like like either that, or where we can like almost download like that, like download our brain into like a matrix, but instead of like the matrix idea, it's like you're living in like a virtual reality world where it's like you can do whatever you want at all times. You like just like click and you're in.
Yeah, that's why that movie Inception was so cool. Remember that movie?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while though.
It's almost like, now that I think about it, it's kind of the same idea, because like people would live in like the dream world, right? And they would like mostly exist in the dream world. Like the real world, there was just places where people would sleep, and they would take this drug, and then they'd be able to live.
Well, I thought the real world still existed. It wasn't like
it did.
Oh wait, do you mean like where the old people lived in like the opium? Yeah. Like, I feel like that's what it could be like. I think that's one of the scenarios that we can end up in almost. Yeah. Because I don't know, just like being in VR was really weird.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
It was super cool though. Like it was just so weird, and I feel like if I don't know, I feel like we're getting so good at like just interconnecting, like because you so many things on your phone you can use like your fingerprint or things like that, or I don't know, it was cool, and I think I can definitely see that being like a possibility, like a possible future.
I gotta try that, and then I still have to do a float tank, man. I've never done that.
Dude, those things are so.
I want to do one. It's so easy. It's so easy. I could easily do one.
Yeah, you're off on Fridays now. You can just go float.
I need to do that. Maybe I'll do both in one day and just change my life.
They wanted one of the original ideas was to use virtual reality in like a float tank.
Sounds like people are gonna get electrocuted.
Or I don't know if it was like that, or like project like a virtual reality onto like the ceiling of the float tank, or like the lid. But that would just be so. I feel like that'd be talking
about that in
one of the Joe Rogan
Dennis
ones.
McKenna.
Yeah. That would just be so. I don't know. Like so, like the one.
I wouldn't be able to focus because I'd be like, "Fuck, this screen falls in. I might get."
Well, I think it would be more like it would be like ingrained. You know how things are like built seamlessly in. Yeah. It'd be something like that where it couldn't fall.
It would still freak me out.
Yeah. But dude, it was so weird. It's like the first. I don't know if I told you, like the first level I did. There was like 3 like levels of difficulty, like an easy level, a medium one, and then like a hard, I guess you could say. I don't know like how it was framed, but there was just 3 different like settings. So the first one, the lady's like, well, she was naming all these things. You're like, you can be in like a paint room or all this stuff. She's like, or you can be in space. I'm like, put me in space. So I put it on, and like it was so weird because like you're going through everything, and it's weird because you're completely blocked out. So you essentially lose your body, and it's just like, because you obviously like you can't see your face, so it's just like you looking out, but instead of like seeing what you're used to, you're in like literally like a virtual world.
Right.
So it's like your consciousness is almost in like another place. And then so I'm going through everything, like she's showing me what to do. I'm getting like the tutorial, and she's like, all right, are you ready? It's gonna start. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So it puts me in space, and literally, dude, I almost like drop down in fear, because it's like you have this like frame of reality of like, you look down, it's like, here's my chest, here's my stomach, here's my legs, and all that.
You can see it.
Right, you have like some basis of like where you are, but being like in space, it was literally like just like your consciousness, because it's like you figure you block everything out, and then you put a vast expanse of nothingness where you have no bearing on reality. And I think it was like being like how when you hear people have like weird experiences of like, or like out of body experiences where it's like they're just like that floating bob of consciousness where they don't have that physical body attachment. That's exactly what it was like, and it was so like transcendental.
Man, where do I find one of these?
I did it at the
like at a mall or something?
At the Microsoft store.
Okay.
But I was in Seattle, so I think you might have to find one of those. I feel like they probably, if you ever go downtown, they probably.
I would like, find like, I want like a good one.
Like
I would pay.
Dude, I would 100. Like that's one of those things where I would. It's so weird because I don't know if I would pay for it now just because of how good it's getting.
Yeah.
Because I like would love to get like a VR.
I mean, like not pay. Like I
but, like
would,
pay to try it out
for an hour. Or something.
Yeah, I don't know if you could do that. That'd be something cool to like see. Yeah. But dude, I would love to get like an HTC Vive and just hang out in space all day. That'd be so. It was
a job when you're in space.
Yeah, you can just kind of. But it was so weird because you can like look up, and again, it's weird because like you lose. It's like how like your sense of like. It's like your sense of like where you are in space. It's called proprioception.
Yeah.
So that is based off of 3 things, like what your joints are telling you, what your eyes are telling you, and then what like your inner ear is telling you. But since your eyes are telling you something different than like what your feet are telling you, kind of like it's just like a weird feedback thing.
Yeah.
So like when you would look up, it was like almost, it was just so weird because again, like it was just like a weird frame of reference because you're cutting off your different, like your sense of where you are in space because you're losing like that body feeling of it. It was so weird. And then I walked into a wall.
You told me that.
Because I was like looking down and then I saw like this like border thing pop up and I thought it said don't walk past it, but it said don't walk to it because that's where the wall is. And I just clunked my head and the lady's like, remember not to walk past the green thing. I got it now.
This fucking idiot floating in space.
It was, and then I was like on a mountain. That one wasn't as cool, but it was just such like a weird. Like I did that, and I'm like, I'm kind of happy I did.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely want to try it.
I don't know if you could rent one out though. That'd be fun.
Just like in the Microsoft store or whatever. Like if there's a little place, like hey, like try one out for 30 minutes, $20 or whatever.
That'd be like a really cool thing. I think just have like a few stations because I mean,
Yeah.
you're still making money off of it, but you figure if people do it enough, they'll wanna. It's almost like renting a game. I feel like back in the old school days when you rent like videos or movie or games, you usually rent the game before you buy it just to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
And then you figure you can.
Business idea here.
Yeah, you just rent out.
I want to try it out. I mean, first I want to see if it's as cool, and then like that would be so cheap if you rent out a space in the mall. You buy the units, which are I think they're expensive, couple grand, right?
Yeah, but you figure it's essentially just like a startup fee,
Right.
and then it's all kind of pure profit from that.
Yeah, as long as there's enough interest. That'd be
I feel
the
something
only
like that would be kind of like a cool. If I feel like you almost would have to do like different. I don't know about rooms, but you'd have to have like some sort of like a barrier system though, just so you didn't have people like running into each other because like
Right.
you definitely do lose your sense of like this reality. So you would have to have like some sort of way just to keep people safe.
Yeah, like collapsible walls or whatever.
Yeah, something like easy like that.
Cool. I'm gonna try that out.
You got a new business idea, make millions.
Yeah, that's definitely on my to-do list.
I don't float. I haven't floated in a while either.
Yeah, maybe we should do that this summer.
No, I won't be working sadly. The lady asked if I
Working
wanted.
stiff.
She was like, "Do you want to do part time until you do like boards and everything?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, sure." Just and then she was like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, it would be like
Where are you at? Where are you gonna be at?
a place in Beverly, possibly if I got hired.
What's it called?
Sport and Ortho. I don't know, it was weird because it was like I'm so used to having like vast expanses of time off because of school, and then it was like one of the deals was you get 17 days of pay time off, and I'm like, I heard that.
It's a good amount though.
Dude, but okay, but think about this
I mean,
and like
in terms of like the corporate world,
going through like my brain, I'm like, wait, I'm gonna work 52 weeks. Oh, it's
I only get 12 per year.
Yeah, but it's just like the idea, like the general principle. It's like you're gonna work that long and you just don't get. It's just such a go foreign. It's something about it seems so like not fun. Like I'm like that doesn't seem like a good life to me.
Well, then you have to put money way lower on your list of priorities. You know, like you can live that life you want, but it's going to be a much different lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't know. Just especially after like
no virtual reality.
Yeah, I know.
No
after
float
like,
tank.
Dude, we can just open up a virtual reality and float tank place and just make a bunch of money, so I don't have to
That'd be
work.
fun.
I can just be an owner, catch a nice little paycheck.
I'll tell you what, man, that'd be a cool idea. I want to try both of the things first to see, because I think they're cool, but I don't think they're have like as big of as a following as they.
I don't think floating, but I think VR definitely, especially if you put it in a place like the mall.
Yeah,
that would definitely be a place
you'd have
where
to
you
charge like a good amount for per hour or something.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have to like kind of get more into like the financials on that based on like the interest. Yeah, I don't know, but just but like going back, we're just like, especially so when we were in Guatemala, we were talking to an Australian girl, and she was like, yeah, like I was talking to someone, they said you only get like 2 weeks off a year for the most part. Like, yeah, that's kind of normal, I guess. She was like, oh, we get 3 months off. And I mean, she was a teacher, so she was, yeah, I get 3 months off. But I thought about it, I'm like, I seriously considered being like a teacher. I'm like, I know the pay isn't as good, and you kind of like shift it over on certain things. But I mean, having 3 months off to just
it's awesome
would be super nice.
Yeah, I can't wait till I'm in a position where that's me.
Yeah, that just seems so much more fun and like so much more experiential than
so much time off
working
full time year round
for 50 weeks a year. and you get
Till you die.
right. And I literally thought about that, and I'm like, is this gonna be my life of essentially just working so I can survive and all? I'm like, that just seemed so counterintuitive to everything that's like good and natural about life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've gotten much more lenient. Like, all right, I get you need money, and like it's a kind of a staple of how to function in the current era.
Yeah.
But I feel like the general idea of that just seems so like, because essentially you're spending your whole life working, and then yeah, you have weekends and you can do like short vacations. But I mean, how much can you really see in either a weekend or even if
Even
you
like
take
2 weeks.
yeah, how much can you really see in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I mean, you can probably see like you like, cause I feel like something like that. It's like you do like daily trips, so you see like, oh, I saw this one day, this another day. But I feel like to really
like
get to a place,
there, travel back. You're not like
right,
just freestyle traveling.
yeah. And I mean, it's you don't like really, and even if you do take like a week-long vacation, how you're very rarely like ever fully immersed in that week.
Oh, you're thinking about when I gotta come back on Monday.
Right, what you have to do when you come back, what you're going to do when you're there.
Right.
Like you have like one day we'll go here, one day we'll go here, instead of just being able to kind of relax and like immerse yourself in like everything and take it all in.
Have you listened to Ari Shaffir?
No.
Dude,
He did that. He like
Oh yeah, dude, listen to it. It's what you're saying is like almost exactly what he's saying.
yeah, I remember him. They were saying he just deletes his phone. He doesn't tell anyone.
4 months he went and traveled. It was like Asia, Southeast Asia or something.
Yeah,
like that.
But he had like he was saying that he has like no phone. He deletes all his numbers, deletes his email, doesn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And then just disappears. And then he'll kind of like casually pop
it was
it.
gonna be.
Yeah.
He thought it was just gonna be maybe a month, and then and it ended up being like 4 months.
Yeah.
And he just totally immersed himself in that. But I just got an idea. When we go on our little camping trip this summer.
I don't even know if I'll be able to because of work.
Oh my god. This
I know.
guy.
Dude, hey, if I didn't have to get a job.
This fucking guy. Well, never mind. I was going to say we should find a float place and a virtual reality place on the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to, but I just.
When would this job start?
I don't know. She said they're looking to hire immediately.
Okay.
So I'd have to kind of figure it out because I don't think my parents would be too fond of it.
Chesnowski.
I know, dude.
Corporate sellout.
I feel so dirty and just terrible about it.
Ugh.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't like that.
We should at least camp for, like a little bit, like
yeah, I
in
know.
Wisconsin or something.
Yeah, something. I don't know. I just feel so dirty.
What a downgrade.
Dude, I don't like the idea either. I like fundamentally disagree with everything about it.
I can't blame you.
I fundamentally disagree with all of it. I hate it. I don't like it. I'm still looking for something that I can like. That's why I want to like make a lot of money quickly, so that way I can be like financially stable and then like just be like smart with my money for say like I don't know however many years. Just be like smart with it so that way I don't need a lot and I just let the money work for me.
Good luck.
I know
it's the American dream.
I know.
Talk to Terry or Mike.
I know Mike's gonna tell me to get into Bitcoin. I'm not trying to get into that.
Well, I have to wrap this up because I have to go open a bank account. So that's it. Episode 4. Upload it as soon as possible. Thank y'all for listening. Much love.